and welcome to another episode of Bad Movies for Bad People, the internet's only podcast about film. Do not fact check that.
The only one.
I am your host today. My name is Eddie. Seated to the right of me is my man William, and seated to the left of me is our very special guest host, once and future burlesque artist Brandy Snifter, also known as my friend Beth Stockton.
Yeah.
And today we are broadcasting to you from the creepy old house at the end of your block that may or may not be making crystal meth. Whatever you know is you're not supposed to trick or treat there.
Yeah.
Today we'll be discussing the 1980s movie, the 1980 classic. Yes,
yeah.
Yes, it's a 70s movie by all metrics.
Yeah.
It is very fucking 70s, and I will have a lot to say about that. But yes, the 1980 Disney film Midnight Madness, which if you are of a certain age, you definitely saw run on HBO over and over again throughout your youth.
Oh, yes, Lord.
Let us begin. Our film opens with two girls roller skating through a college campus. These girls are named Candy and Sunshine. They're carrying with them a bunch of envelopes of different colors.
And may I say here that this is a Disney film. This is technically a Disney film.
Yes.
It was distributed at least by Disney.
Released by Disney, made by Disney, designed by Disney.
And this might, dare I say, the horniest Disney movie.
By far the horniest of Disney films.
Yeah, because this opening scene, one of these roller girls is wearing very 70s, high-waisted jean shorts.
Just the hottest of hot pants.
I think they're dolphin shorts, actually. They're like Richard Simmons.
There are ass cheek, ass cheek bottom
coming out.
Yeah, if you're in LA, you've seen this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, oh no, they're back.
Yeah, and she's wearing like a super tight yellow tank through which you can see not just the nipple,
the whole breast.
but the areola.
There's no mystery. There's no mystery.
You can see her heart beating. The thing is
you can see the blood pulsing through her veins.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, yes.
A little something for Dad right in the opening scene here. I was like, holy shit, what was this movie rated?
So they're weirdly enough, G movie.
Yeah.
Like, if they released this movie today, modern sensibilities, this would be at least a PG, because there's several scenes where you'd have to explain to a small child what's going on. Mommy, why can I see that woman's nipples? Oh, fuck. So the first stop is the college football field, where they hand one envelope to a football player who is at a cooler with Gatorade, and he opens the Gatorade and dumps it over his head because he has clearly never heard of fucking bugs in his life. Like, bugs don't exist in Midnight Madness world, I guess. Because all I can think as soon as he does it is like, he is just going to be
sticky.
He's going to be so sticky he could climb up a wall like fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah. This is football team captain Levitas. We will see him later. He gets a green envelope. We immediately cut to the next stop, which is a classroom where a man is sitting alone reading Robert's Rules of Order. And the best way to describe this man is he's a fucking nerd. He went to the nerd store.
He is the
nerd. The nerd store salesperson and said, "Give me the full nerd."
He is the Jungian archetype.
Give me any nerd you got left in the back there too. Box it all up and give it to me.
Scrape out the bottom of the nerd barrel.
Exactly. If this were an episode of Saved by the Bell, his name would be Nerdy Von Nerdlinger, because in Saved by the Bell, their nerds always had the word nerd worked in, which is like a weird commentary on the Saved by the Bell universe and how title dictates behavior, I guess. But we're not getting into that right now. That's a different podcast. If Saved by the Bell ever hears my pleas and does a movie. But R.I.P. Screech. Anyway, he's sitting alone in an empty classroom reading Robert's Rules of Order because why? And they go to hand him this envelope.
Because he's a law nerd. Yeah, I thought this is 1980. You know, the subspecies of nerds, they come and go.
Yeah.
Maybe there was law nerds at one time.
Yeah, no, he's clearly like a book nerd. He's not in the library.
He has a gavel.
Though. He's got a fucking gavel on his desk.
Yeah.
He's got Robert's Rules of Order, and if this were a slightly different kind of movie, he'd have a hand in his pants. This guy definitely masturbates while reading aloud from Robert's Rule.
What we later learn He's a debate nerd.
Oh, yes, he definitely is.
Yeah.
Yes. This is Wesley. He is played by just the penultimate late 70s, early 80s nerd, Eddie Deason, who you may recognize as the nerd from Grease, the nerd from Laser Blast, the nerd from anything where there was a fucking nerd in it for a long time.
If he's the penultimate, who's the ultimate?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Shit.
He was Robert Carradine was the ultimate.
Okay,
nerd.
all right, fine.
So this guy.
But Eddie Deason is like the progenitor of Revenge of the Nerds. Like I was surprised he wasn't in the fucking movie.
So also for
also the voice of Mandark from Dexter's Laboratory. Yeah.
Damn it, Ed.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scoop you there.
Yeah.
You got Mandark scooped, son.
Yeah, I heard this guy. Yeah, I heard this guy talk, and I was like, this motherfucker sounds like Mandark, and I just assumed that whoever did the voice of Mandark was just channeling this guy hard.
He was just
same guy.
Huge Midnight Madness fan.
Same guy, yeah, and
somebody was channeling Eddie Deason. Actually, I could see that.
Yeah, no, I think every nerd since has channeled Eddie Deason.
Absolutely,
definitely,
he's like the grandpapa.
Yeah, he invented like the movie nerd.
Yeah. The rival on Dexter's Lab,
Yes.
in case anyone recognizes the name, but is like...
So they hand him a white envelope, he opens it, he takes a look, and then just immediately, like, rudely shoos them away, and now you realize why he's alone, you know?
Because
No
of his
social
actions
skills.
and behaviors and the choices he makes.
He is a dick. So they roller skate off, and...
He's just burning time till the MCU starts.
Honestly, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like, he's just waiting until there's an internet for him to argue with somebody about Doctor Who.
Time is not then. It is in the future.
Next stop, the Zeta sorority house, where where a lady is decorating for a party. This lady is Donna.
Oh God, there's just too many people in this movie.
There are.
I mean, in the best way possible.
I mean, they all got a paycheck, so good for them.
Yeah.
Not much acting going on.
Donna is played by Maggie Roswell.
Maggie Roswell is her name. Yes, she's voiced Animaniacs characters. She's done lots and lots of voice acting. Is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
But famously, a lot of women on The Simpsons. She is given a red envelope and they skate off. And our next stop is at a drive-in restaurant, which is not on the college campus, but whatever. Mm-hmm. We see a man seated in a convertible, just laying on the horn with one hand and shoveling just handfuls of French fries into his mouth with the other hand. This is Harold. Harold is the most obnoxious human being in a movie that I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure the producer and director of the film sat Stephen Furst, the actor, down, and they're like, all right, we know you played the fat guy in Animal House, but you were like a gentle fat guy. We need you to do like Belushi, but worse. If you're not doing something obnoxious in a scene in this movie, you're fucking fired. You behave in a socially unacceptable fashion like your job depends on it. And Furst is like, can do.
Got you covered.
So what happens? He's shoveling handfuls of fries into his mouth with one hand, laying on the horn. The server finally comes up to him, puts his meal on the window of the car. He takes one look at the burger. It's got a piece of cheese on it, which he pulls off the burger and throws at her, and then dumps the tray because fuck this guy.
One piece of cheese just ruins his whole meal.
Okay, well, in his defense, though, this is like a non-melted ass piece of cheese.
Yeah.
Like this, he just pulls it off like easily. Like I would never. I don't ever send food back. If I order like fish sticks and they bring me like a cheeseburger, I guess I'm eating a fucking cheeseburger. So I don't identify with Harold here, and especially like there's not a sin greater than being rude to waitstaff in my eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, he so oversells it. He fucking dumps this tray like a monster. He's the worst.
There was like a moment. There's a brief moment before he starts laying on the horn where he's just gluttonously just shoving food in his mouth, and I was like, oh man, I can tell by the way this is framed that he's gonna be like an antagonistic force. You're gonna make me hate the dude just because he likes to eat, but then he's also a piece of shit.
Yeah, I was
like, oh, thank God, thank God.
Like the gluttony is like the 9th thing wrong with Harold.
Yeah.
Fucking.
You feel sorry for him about that. You're like, it's okay, honey. You can eat all these marshmallows if you want. Just don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So Candy and Sunshine roll up and they drop off the envelope. This one's a blue one. They give it to Harold, and this movie so aggressively fucking hates Harold and fat people that I'm surprised he doesn't eat the fucking envelope. Like, thankfully that doesn't happen. Yeah, exactly. They skate off quickly though. Final stop, another building. It's the counseling office where we meet Adam. Adam is counseling a fellow student,
which is so weird.
Yeah.
well, freshman, I'm a sophomore, so I've got this whole thing figured out.
Dude, what are you talking about? That's every fucking high school experience I ever had was like some sophomore would come up to me and be like, listen, I've been around the world. I fucking know this place. Because, alright, freshmen are the dumbest people on earth, and the only people dumber than them are sophomores because they've been around for 1 year, so they think they know fucking everything. But yeah, like every time I was like looking for anything, like some sophomore would come at me in high school and be like, hey, freshman, something I can help you with? I know the ropes around here, trust me. And it's like, I just want to know where the fucking bathroom is. Leave me alone.
Yes, but the reason it's weird is because he appears to be doing this in like an official capacity.
No, he definitely works as like a student.
Weird.
Yeah, it's so weird that they're, hey, you've been around for a year, so help the new kids out, and we'll pay you money or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just thought that was bizarre.
Yeah. No,
at first I thought it was like, I didn't realize he was a student for a long time, because we don't really see him doing...
We don't see any of the
student shit.
Studenting.
Yeah. He just thought he was supposed to be a counselor. I'm like, but it's like the same... This might have been a case of like 70s casting, where they're like the same age, or just a wildly inappropriate age. And I was like, he's the same age as the student. He's counselor. What's that?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No.
It was just weird.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
But no, that is a thing I have been told among like college campuses where they'll have like student counselors who counsel other students like with their feelings or whatever. So this guy he's counseling is named Flinch, and he's telling Flinch that Flinch really wants this class, and the teacher won't let him transfer. He's like, you need to do whatever you can. You need to sit on the teacher's desk and to refuse to leave until they give you the class. You need to stomp your feet. You need to do whatever. So basically he's saying, go in there and be a giant disruptive asshole, and the teacher will be like, well, yeah, please come be in my class. Shitty advice. Yeah. Adam is a bullshit counselor, and he is played by David, American Werewolf in London, Naughton, also known as the Dr. Pepper spokesman around this time. He sang the I'm a pepper, you're a pepper.
Right.
Ugh. Yeah. Also, fun fact about David Naughton, he was in this terrible TV show called Making It that was like somebody saw Saturday Night Fever and they're like, hey, we need to make a sitcom out of that, but we don't want to pay any money. So let's make just the slightly resembling version and they cast David Naughton, who had his own disco hit that was the theme of the show, called Making It, and it's terrible. I hate David Naughton so much. I wanted that werewolf to kill him so bad in that movie. Telling Flinch to throw a fucking tantrum, like I said, and
which really proves why it's weird to have a student counseling a student.
Yeah.
Because that advice is
it's
not
terrible.
Golden.
Yeah.
Adam does not give good advice. Anytime Adam has to dispense advice throughout this movie, it is always terrible. But Candy and Sunshine drop off the final envelope, and they actually speak to him. They're like, are you Adam? Here, we've got this for you. And they drop, and then, by the way, they don't blink the whole time they talk to him. More on that later.
There's also like a weird, like a very, not weird, but a very gratuitous ass shot of one of them in this scene.
Because Disney was like, let's see how far we can push this envelope and still get a G rating. And somehow they succeeded. People were probably fired over this movie. So we cut to an apartment building, and Adam shows up. It's like the Hollywood Tower or something like that. Is that still up? I'm not an LA person, so you ever drive by it and you're like, that's where...
I believe there's like a big old neon sign over it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, somewhere in here I wrote down like how much it like cost, like how much his apartment cost to live there, and it's somewhere in my notes.
I bet it's very exorbitant.
Yeah, it's like LA price, which is still expensive, but it's weird that a college student lives there.
Well, I have some theories
Leon
about
is special.
that. I have some theories about him, but we'll get to him. We'll get to him. Let's not look
So we're in this apartment.
Yes, he shows up at this apartment. Candy and Sunshine answer the door again. Really robotic delivery, unblinking. Like, we've been waiting for you. Come inside. Everyone else is already waiting. And they show Adam to a seat which is color-coded yellow, which was the same color envelope he got, and everyone else is sitting in color-coded seats according to the envelopes they got. And Harold is there just shoveling chips in his mouth because it's been 5 fucking seconds since he ended. You know, he's getting more in his shirt than he is in his mouth. Just terrible. And Wesley is just looking around. He's having the time of his life because people want him in the room. Mm-hmm. And, like, if you watch him this whole scene, he's doing, like, his background stuff, and he is just mind blown that nobody has, like, given him a wedgie and kicked him out of the room yet. So, good on Wesley. But he sits down, and they're like, now the show can start. It's a slideshow.
And I'm just like, cold.
Yeah.
Cold.
Oh.
Cold.
So much. they're going to come out with some steak knives, and they're going to be like, we'd like you to sell these fucking steak knives.
They're going to be like, welcome to Herbalife.
Yeah, exactly.
The Herbalife family.
Who wants Flavor Aid?
So this apartment is decorated in a style that I can describe as shantytown chic. Mm-hmm. The expensive-ass apartment. Leon doesn't have any money to decorate this apartment, so he just decorates it with, like, found objects, like street signs and shit all over the place.
I'm glad this is an audio medium, so nobody can see what my apartment looks like while Ed's saying that.
No, your apartment, it's all deliberate. Your pictures are, like, in frames, and they're, like, spaced. Leon is, like, they just put a bunch of glue on garbage and threw it at the walls, whatever stock he kept, you know?
It's LA, all of our money goes to rent.
Exactly. No, I'm not judging. Believe me. If you saw my apartment, you'd be like, wow, somebody has to get out of here in a hurry, because I don't have anything on my walls, so... You just look at the apartment, you're like, this person who lives in this apartment has a plan to kill a president, I think. But, the show begins, and it's a hastily assembled slideshow from the days before PowerPoint about how man has competed with one another in games since the dawn of time, and at the end of the slideshow, the screen pops up and a man rolls in on a rolly chair, and it is our hero, Leon. I love Leon. Nobody in this fucking movie loves Leon. Yeah. As soon as they see him, they're like, Leon!
And right up to that moment, there's an energy in the room that I would describe as pre-orgy.
Yeah.
Like, this could go a couple of ways, and orgy's not off the table until Leon pops out, and everyone is like, Leon!
Definitely not happening anymore.
Yeah.
Big old boner killer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I disagree. I think Leon...
I think Leon, I would hit that. Of all the people in the movie, I would definitely hit Leon.
I will say this about the characters. I said that when William told me that he feels this is the horniest Disney movie. The characters in this movie are written in such a way that I think if they ever had a chance to have sex, they wouldn't know what sex was, because the concept would just be alien to them. And I feel like every character has that energy except for Leon. You know Leon fucks. Leon fucks.
He is fucked.
And now maybe you understand why Candy and Sunshine are so fucking relaxed.
Exactly.
But, yeah, Leon is totally banging them both, and good on him. You know, good for their polycule. I'm happy. But...
Well, can we talk about, like, just the way Leon looks? Because, like, a weird thing about Leon is I feel like he's codified as being, like, a really weird, just a complete fucking maniac, psycho, bizarro nerd. But, like, with modern eyes, he just looks like a guy.
He just looks like
he's wearing a t-shirt! A t-shirt with no button up over it and jeans, and like he looks like fucking like
he's glasses and frizzy hair. He's
like
dude.
Worst thing this guy does, he's like makes you listen to the EP that his indie electro dream pop band put out or something.
This guy looks like he knows a lot about weed.
Yeah,
and will tell you about it if you didn't ask him. That's his look.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
Just a fucking guy.
Yeah, he's got like facial hair at a time when like only the counterculturals have facial hair, but he's got like a beard and like kind of frizzy hair and glasses. Yeah, he just looks like a guy.
He's just a random,
just a dude.
Yeah,
just some
average
dude.
Guy.
Yeah,
absolutely average.
Yeah.
But, like, the way he's introduced, like, the Kong at the gates moment is like, oh yeah, we're all supposed to be in the crowd and be like, that's fucking Leon, great! But, no, he's just a fucking guy.
Just a guy.
Just they wasted a great intro on just no backstory to this guy.
Yeah.
Like, if they had been building him up, the whole, this is finally Leon. No, they went the other way. You don't even know about Leon, which is shitty storytelling. So Leon tells them, I have designed a new game. The game is called The Great All-Nighter. Each of you will assemble a team. You will all start at the same place, sunset, Friday, and I will give you the first clue. You will take that clue, you will move to a destination once you solve that clue that contains the destination. And when you get to that new destination, you'll find another clue, which will contain the next destination, so on and so forth, until you get to the finish line. First person to the finish line gets a trophy and bragging rights.
Which is so weird, because it's like, you can win a trophy in this thing I made up.
Yeah.
Nobody's impressed. Like, oh, what's that? Oh, I got a gold medal in Squiznork. What's that? Oh, my friend made it up.
Okay.
Oh, but I guess you're the best at it.
There are definitely people in my life where if you walked up to them and said, I got a gold medal in Squiznork, they'd be like, well, then I got to be the best fucking Squizworth player ever. You got a gold medal. And Leon has assembled a whole team of those, or a whole group of those. Yeah. Those are his team leaders. But anyway, he's like, what do you say? And everybody's like, no! And they all leave. But before he leaves, of course, fucking Harold has to fill his pockets with loose potato chips from a bowl. Like, just shoveling handfuls of chips in his bowl for the ride, or in his pocket for the ride home.
His pocket bowl.
His pocket chips. Just little pocket chips. That's going to be disgusting later.
But he doesn't wash his own clothes, so it's okay.
Oh, well, yeah. Well,
he doesn't ever have to deal with any consequences ever.
At this point in the movie, though, we don't really know that Harold kind of comes from money. Yeah. So it's like, is he doing that because he's a homeless person? Like,
it's college. Maybe dude is hungry.
I spent all my money on fucking tuition. This is
I mean, it's not ketchup packets and lemon slices from the cafeteria.
Exactly. So. Like, I knew lots of fucking college students. I never went to college myself, but I knew a lot of college students when I was college age, and I would hang out with them when we'd go to, like, all-night diners, and whenever they brought, like, baskets of bread, they'd steal, like, all the crackers, and if they brought little things of peanut butter to the table, they would take the peanut, like, they'd have these little sealed, like, the peanut butter for, like, your toast or whatever, they'd swipe those, and be like, oh, this is gonna be great, I can eat food next week. It's like, wow, this is really making me want to go get a higher education, guys. Cool. Love this. Yeah. But, everybody refuses, like I was saying, and the girls are...
They don't just refuse, they laugh at him.
Yeah, Leon is laughed out of his own apartment, except everyone else leaves, so they all fuck off.
Which would be devastating if he didn't have two honeys in there with him.
Yeah, no.
His polycule. Well,
and they both comfort him. They're like, oh, Leon, we're so sad that they don't want to play your game. You spent a whole year developing it. And he's like, relax, ladies. I picked them for a reason. Because Leon is a step ahead of everybody in this fucking movie. Big cult leader energy from Leon. Leon has, Candy and Sunshine, they're going to kill for Leon one day. You can tell, just look in their eyes.
When the comet arrives.
Yeah.
Perhaps they have.
Well, this is the first game. The next game, it's going to eventually develop. Leon might be the Saw killer. I'm not sure. I have a theory about that. That the Saw movies, the Saw killer is actually Leon from Midnight Madness, and this is like the original prequel to Saw. He just gets cancer and decides all his games need murder in them now. So, everybody... everybody refuses. Candy and Sunshine could not be more upset. But the next scene, we cut to Wesley, and he's holding some kind of debate on whether or not to get rid of the college football team, because apparently that's a thing you could just do. You could just be like, we should get rid of the football team. Everything I know about college is like, we should get rid of arts.
Yeah.
So our football players have an extra pillow.
Because this is fucking America.
Yeah.
Most public schools are actually just a football program that does education as a side hustle.
Yeah, like sports drive the economy of most colleges.
I mean, for real, if you look up the highest paid public sector employee in every state, almost all of them are college football coaches.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, in Indiana, it's Tom Crean, the football coach of the IU Bloomington football team.
Yeah.
At least a couple of years ago. While I was there, he was the highest paid public employee in Indiana.
So the football players show up to this debate. And when Wesley opens the floor for comments from the crowd, the football players retort with some thoughtful comments. No, I'm kidding! They pelt them with rotten vegetables!
And I gotta say, as I'm longtime listeners of the pod, I'm sure will be shocked by this, but in any kind of jock versus nerd debate or conflict, I'm generally sympathetic to the nerd.
Oh yeah, this podcast very nerd friendly.
Yeah, but I fucking hate this nerd.
The nerds in this movie are so they're awful.
Yeah, they're
not lovable.
Yeah,
in the normal.
There are barely any lovable people in this whole movie.
That's true, but these especially.
Yeah.
No.
So when the jocks, the football team shows up to cause trouble and they're throwing tomatoes, and I'm just like, good. Fuck this nerd. Yeah, fuck him. This awful nerd with this awful voice. He deserves it.
Cut to the Zeta House sorority. Donna is having a rush party, and we meet a couple of her sorority sisters. We meet Burl, who they never say it, but Burl is clearly like coded, queer coded as like a butch lesbian.
Sure.
Yeah, and she's awesome. But like Donna like pulls Burl aside and she's like, "We might finally get more than 4 members of this sorority. Right now it's just you, me, and Peggy and Lulu, and then we meet Peggy and Lulu. I love Peggy and Lulu. You've seen them." Previous listeners, they were in Hamburger the Motion Picture. They're these 2 large, giggling twins. They wear these hats and glasses. They have a very distinct look. They've only done a couple of movies, but God bless them in this movie. They're fucking great. as unlikable as they are in Hamburger, they're double lovable in this fucking movie.
Well, in Hamburger, they're basically, in this movie, they're also basically a punchline, but in Hamburger, they're just...
In this movie, there's a little more to them in this movie than the punchline.
They're not just like a one-off, one-scene gag like they are in Hamburger.
Exactly.
Because they're in the, is it the 700-pound club?
Yeah, the 700 Club, or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Like the
200-pound club, whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. But in this, that's from Hamburger. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you'd seen Hamburger the Motion Picture. I assume nobody has.
Time. I know all about Peggy and Lulu and how wonderful they are.
They really are. Yeah. But the party, who shows up at the party? The football players continue their reign of terror. Apparently, Thursday night, nothing to do on college campus except for show up and fuck everything up. They show up with a beer keg, they try to give themselves a beer, and they break the keg, and then they're just like, oh, it's spraying beer all over the place. Better hose everybody in the room down and ruin the party because everyone on the football team is the fucking Tasmanian devil.
And, like, this is so weird to me because I feel like the whole jocks versus nerds thing, like, as seen in Revenge of the Nerds and Animal House and insert 80s movie here, is so high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
nobody gives a shit anymore.
Who cares?
College. Nobody cares.
Right? And so, also, like, when I was going to college, you know, especially particularly the basketball team, because, you know, IU, big basketball place, like, these were people gunning for the NBA. And, like, a lot of the other sports people were, like, literally in the Olympics. Like, they work very hard. They don't have time to be, like, terrorizing the nerds.
No.
And even if they did, like, there's, like, morality clauses and shit in their contracts. Yeah. Like, was this happening in the 80s? Or was this just because in the 80s it was really easy to become a screenwriter? So these screenwriters are, like, 22, 23 and just working out their weird high school trauma through the medium of film.
Well, I think this movie was probably written by somebody who went to college in the 50s before the NFL was even like really a thing. Mm-hmm. So they probably did behave like this back then because there's nothing for football players to do except for be like awesome. You know, just like hey, let's just sit around and be awesome. And how do we be awesome? We just make everyone less awesome by ruining their parties and pelting people with fruit and having a fucking reign of terror.
Yeah. So well, they took a break from flagpole sitting and seeing how many people they could stuff in a single phone booth.
Yeah. Okay, so next stop, we see Adam, and he's again counseling Flinch from earlier. Flinch tells him that, you know, he took Adam's advice and he talked to the teacher, and the teacher's still not letting him into the class. Big surprise. But he's got some other problems he wants to talk to Adam about, and that problem is girls.
Oh, boy.
And Adam's like, do you mean to tell me you're a virgin? Which is a weird thing to hear in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Are you a virgin? And Flinch says, and this is so perplexing.
Well, also just a very normal thing to discuss with your counselor? Yeah.
No.
Let me tell you what my dick's been up to, Teach.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Wait. So your counselor didn't ask about your virginity?
No.
Only on penis inspection day.
Okay, good. You guys had one too. Good. Oh, thank goodness. I was worried there for a second.
Yeah.
Also, it's perfectly normal for him to follow up with you every year until you're 35, right?
Thank God for the internet, so you can just do it with pictures.
Oh, that would have been such a better idea.
God. Too dark. Pull it back. Pull up.
Okay, we're
Pull up on
abandoning
the stick, baby. Too dark. We are in a tailspin.
Oh, fuck. So Adam, you know, Flinch is in the most perplexing line in this whole movie when Adam asks him, are you a virgin? Flinch is like, not exactly, but I've never been on a date.
So he's getting anonymous puss on the rack.
Yeah, is he doing some DL sex?
Prostitution.
Is he getting hookers? That's
I just think he's getting anonymous hookups on the reg. I think
bang a girl at camp
because
I want to know.
What about like glory holes? I think that could be kind of a thing.
College campus 70s. Yeah. He's like, I'm not exactly a virgin. Somebody sucked my penis.
I just have no idea who they were.
I can't take him home to mom because it was a dude standing in a shopping bag in the public park bathroom.
I was picturing because this Flinch character, he's very much a nerd, but whereas
he's less of a nerd, and he's more of a dweeb.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not like the abrasive kind, like the debate nerd. Ugh. He's just very, he's very meek. Like insecure. He's meek. He's meek.
He has asthma. He is coded as being meek because he has like an asthma inhaler that he hits on whenever he gets like overwhelmed in this movie.
But I mean, to me, it's just funny to picture him where he's like, well, I'm not exactly a virgin, but I've never had a date. Just him picking up bar honeys, and then and then cut to him, buttoning his shirt up, and they're like, "Oh, Flinch! Oh, when will I see you again?" "You won't, baby." Just lights up a smoke and leaves.
So many questions. These are all possibilities.
Yeah.
He answered none of them.
Yes.
And they just throw it away. And Adam gives them some boilerplate bullshit advice about being confident and, seizing the moment and get all the dates you want. Just shit that people tell people who can't get dates. Oh, you just gotta be confident. I know plenty of people who are confident that can't get dates. Yeah. There's a lot more to it. I can't explain it. Somehow I have managed to go on dates in my life, and every time somebody asks me how I did it, I'm like, I don't fucking know, and I'm still waiting for somebody to jump out and be like, surprise, it's a trick!
Charisma.
Could be. I'm
charming. You are
a
charismatic motherfucker.
I'm charming.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to humble brag to our listeners. I've been on dates.
Look at me.
That's not what I'm about. So... anyway, Flinch exits and Laura enters. We meet Laura. She's a fellow counselor, and every time she walks into the room, we can tell she must be the romantic interest because there's this
theme music,
little flute theme. Yeah, she gets her own theme music whenever she. Fucking Harold doesn't have theme music. Mm-hmm. Nobody else has theme music, but she gets like this cute little flute thing.
She gets little flutes, so that either means that she's the love interest, or as Billy Jack taught us, she might have Indian magic. It can mean one of these two things.
Think about that. I didn't think about that.
I'm gonna prefer to think of it that way from now on.
She's sensing something. Somebody sabotaging her car.
And we can tell that she's going to be set up as Adam's romantic interest. Not through any acting on their parts because they're not good at it, but because every time she looks at Adam, we hear that fucking music again, and they have these will they, won't they moments where they stare at each other and then go about their business.
Well, we also get a loose close-up of her where they're doing that at least trying to do
focus lens.
The classic Hollywood. And they have she's looking just off camera, so we get her in 3/4, and they're doing the thing where they have a big fill behind her, so she has a halo effect.
It's ding, how beautiful, there she is. There's the romantic lead.
Exactly.
She tells Adam.
In soft focus, so much RuPaul.
Oh, yes.
She doesn't blur her fucking hair. RuPaul gets so blurry, every year a little blurrier. Next season of RuPaul's Drag Race, she's gonna just look like Bigfoot. This is a Pruder film.
There's a guy whose job it is to take all the camera lenses at the end of every season and just file them with a sandpaper for the next season.
Just take a loose razor blade and scrape the Vaseline off.
Just score it a bit so RuPaul looks a little blurrier next year. If she sees us putting the Vaseline on the lens, we're all fired. We can't tell her we're doing this. Okay, sidebar. This is very loosely related to that.
She knows because somebody is going through in post and blurring her hairline like it's a Japanese dick. She must be requesting this.
Okay, so sidebar. I once read an interview with a lady who was Elvis's tailor on his final tour, and she was asked about his weight gain, and he was like, we weren't allowed to address the weight gain. We weren't allowed to discuss Elvis gaining weight at all. And in order to accommodate for it, after every show, I would collect his wardrobe and I would alter his pants by letting them out 2 more inches. And until the end of the tour, every single night.
Oh, wow.
We weren't allowed to ask about the weight gain.
No.
I don't know. Maybe it was hollowing out a fresh loaf of bread, filling it with bacon, fried bananas, and peanut butter.
Yeah.
Maybe that had something to do with it.
Well, when asked in the interview if she thought he might still be alive, because this was an old interview when people had the conspiracy theory that Elvis faked his death, she's like, nobody can eat that many Monte Cristo sandwiches and still live. For those of you who don't know, a Monte Cristo sandwich is if you took a regular ass sandwich and what if this was French toast for bread.
I was gonna say it's like
cover it in powdered sugar and eat it with jam.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's like what if you're eating French toast? You're like, this is a meal, but it could be more of a meal.
If there was a ham and cheese sandwich inside there.
Yeah.
Somehow. If French toast fucked a ham and cheese sandwich, a Monte Cristo would be born. And that's what's going on in the kitchen at every Greek diner when you order one of those sandwiches. Just an old Greek man playing romantic music for a ham and cheese sandwich and an order of French toast so you can have your fucking Monte Cristos, people. Don't fact check that.
That's beautiful.
Romantic. So anyway, Laura tells Adam that he needs to follow his own advice about seizing the moment. And he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, this game with Leon. You've got a goal. You need to go out and achieve your goal. And basically she, manipulates him badly with, first semester reverse psychology, and is like, if you don't do this, then every piece of advice you've ever handed out is therefore invalidated because you had one opportunity for a thing that you didn't seize. And he's like, God damn it, you're right. I have a theory that Leon is paying her to get Adam to sign on because Adam seems to be a bit of a big man on campus, so if he's the linchpin, we can get Adam on board, all the other teams will follow.
Right,
I think Leon is just paying her under the table. Maybe she's another part of Leon's super secret sex cult. Right?
How secret is it? They're
Candy and Sunshine are pretty
sex
obvious.
cult.
Yeah, they're skating around in their little outfits, passing out invitations.
They're obviously his bitches.
Yeah.
So we cut next to Harold's house, and this is where we find out where Harold comes from money, which just makes it even weirder that every time he's near any free food, he has to fill his pockets with a hobo, But he's just sitting in his living room.
Like how I play Fallout.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I might need this.
You just take everything.
Yeah.
I might need it later.
I know so many people that grew up poor that are like that, I don't know when I'm going to get candy again, so I better take all this candy, like that box of free candy that they have at the grocery store.
God damn it.
Call back. Anyway, so we meet Harold and we meet his crew. These are some classy people. We see Harold sitting in an easy chair, just shoveling handfuls of M&Ms into his mouth. We meet his girlfriend Lucille. We don't know much about her yet, but she keeps telling Harold he needs to lay off the fucking snacks. We see his friend Blade. His whole personality is he has a knife. He doesn't say a damn word in the whole movie. He doesn't smile. He doesn't do anything. He just has a fucking knife.
Blade looks like a featured extra from Netflix's Narcos.
Yeah, I think he's been on that show, actually. I looked at his IMDb, and he has worked, so much. Yeah, he's been on Westworld. He's been on fucking Narcos.
He just hangs out in the back, has a menacing air, and plays with his fucking switchblade.
Exactly. Somebody saw him doing that, and they're like, that's your whole character.
Yeah. He's
like, all right, what'll I do? And they're like, no talking.
Just blading.
Against the wall. And just play with that fucking knife, Blade. Your name will be Blade. That's your deal.
Yeah.
You're the fucking knife guy. Why do they need a knife guy? Shut up, you're the knife guy.
It's fine.
For stabbings, for cuttings, gougings.
You never know when some shit's gonna go down with Harold.
This is a violent game.
Yeah. we meet his other friend Barf, who is coded in a very insensitive way as mentally challenged. And we meet his final friend, Melio, a.k.a. the Instigator. Mm-hmm. Melio is that friend that everybody has in their circle. Some would argue that his name is Ed in my circle. That if you tell him not to push a button, he smashes that button with a hammer. He's that guy who has to provoke everything that he's not supposed to do, he does. And we see
a stirrer of pots.
He is a shit starter.
A starter of shits.
Yes. A starter of shits. This is Melio, and several times in this movie I ask, why do they have him around? Why is he friends with them? But then I remember some of the stories that I have with my friends, and I'm like, why are they friends with me? So I get it. I identify the most with Melio in this movie, which is not healthy, and I'm working on it. But yeah, we see him, he's spinning an antique vase on the shelf, and you just know he's doing it, so someone will say, Melio, stop that, you're gonna break it. And then he can pick it up and flip it around and be like, look how cool I am, I won't break it. Smash. Thankfully that doesn't happen.
My amphora.
Yeah. So my Ming Dynasty vase, there were 4 in the world.
Yeah.
Now there are 3. But And Harold's girlfriend tells him to lay off the snacks, so he just throws a handful of M&Ms on the ground. Not the dish where he just got them, that would be nice. Yeah. He just throws them on the ground, and in a really smooth fashion, he calls for his housekeeper and tells her there's a mess to clean up. How does he do this?
Oh,
does he speak Spanish?
Oh,
no, he speaks white people tourist Spanish. Oh, El Meso de Clino. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, hey, remember this guy who just fucking, like, shoves people and abuses white staff? Well, he's also racist.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. And we get a little bit here with Harold's dad.
Yeah, Harold's father storms into the room.
Weirdest motivation in, like, any
super
movie.
Angry. Harold's dad storms into the room and tells Harold to meet him in the den because they need to talk. Harold kind of tries to play it cool, but his dad just yanks him in there. Or, so it's like yelling, yanking, pushing, shoving, or as they called it in the 1970s, being a parent. Mm-hmm. And there are no less than 30 trophies in his father's den, so you know where this is going.
Yeah.
And Harold's dad tells him that he needs to get off his lazy butt. He needs to do something with his life. And he's like, you know what you're going to do? You're going to play this inconsequential game that your friend has set up that I've somehow heard of. Why are you going to do it? Why are you going to do it? Because some guy you go to college with's dad says that the guy you go to college with is entering it, and I don't want you to get bested by him again. What?
So fucking insane.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sick of him one-upping me with how accomplished his kid is.
And scavenger hunts.
And Harold...
You will be the best at scavenger hunts.
Yes.
By God, your great-grandfather didn't scavenge his way to America for you to not be the best at scavenger hunts.
And he goes on for a while about how great Adam is.
Which is... Like, how does Harold's dad know Adam?
Apparently,
he counseled me.
Small college, I
guess.
But, how many people did you know in your college? Not a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's just gushing.
How many people did your dad know at your college?
Yeah. Even weirder, but he is just Adam. Like, I really expect him to be like, all right, son, I need you to leave the room. Zip, dad needs some alone time. Yeah. Leave that picture of Adam out. Like, it's fucking gross. Like, it's so weird. But... he's like, and by the way, have that friend of yours, Adam, come over and wash my car while I watch him from in here, and the door's going to be locked, and tell him he's not allowed to look at me because that's part of it, And Harold is like, Dad, why can't you just appreciate me for who I am? Which would be sympathetic if every other second of this movie wasn't devoted to Harold just being the biggest piece of shit in this movie of pieces of shit. It's just every scene, he's like punching a puppy in the face or like...
burning down an orphanage.
Yeah, exactly. He's telling kids there's no Santa.
Lying about WMDs in Iraq.
Exactly. He's the worst. Why can't you like me for me? Because who you are is a piece of shit, son. So go out there and win this stupid game your friend made up.
For your father's love.
For your father's love. And he's like, okay. So cut to Adam, and Adam is trying to get his team together, and he's at his friend Marvin's house. Marvin's got a Jeep, and he's working on his Jeep. And he's like, what do you say, Marvin? Come on, play the game. We could use a guy like you on the team. He's like, no, I'm just going to sit at home and tinker with my car. I'm one of those guys. I'm going to grow up, and I'm going to be friends with you, and I'm going to fix your car for beer. That's my future. He's that guy.
It's important to have a guy.
It is. I don't have a guy like that, which is why I don't own a car. So Adam lays some fucking... He stealing a page from Laura, lays some first semester reverse psychology shit on Marvin. He's like, that's fine, because your Jeep wouldn't be able to keep up with all those other cars anyway. And Marvin's like, what are you talking about? I'll be there tomorrow at 5 to pick you up. Don't you ever say anything bad about my Jeep. Kiss it on the mouth. Kiss my Jeep right now. Kiss my Jeep.
Seems pretty right for Jeep guys. There's a certain breed of Jeep guy.
Okay, here's the fucked up thing, though. I mean... his car looks like a Jeep, but it's a Toyota brand. It's not even a Jeep brand Jeep. Yeah. He's not a real Jeep.
Yeah. He refers to it as a Jeep, too.
And it's not a fucking Jeep.
In the shot where he refers to it as a Jeep, you can see the word Toyota on the grill.
Nobody bothered to, like, take a chisel and get that off.
Right? Yeah. They didn't fucking gaff tape the Toyota out.
Yeah. So we cut to Wesley assembling his team out of his fellow debate team members. He enlists them by informing them that if they enter this... guess who else is entering? Levitas, so we can finally show up those football goons. And all of his debate team members look like they're his stunt doubles. They look exactly alike. Like, like, the debate team is made up of 5 Wesleys in case one dies, I guess. I don't know how serious the debates are in this college. So then we cut to the football team at a pizza place where Levitas is trying to enlist the football players. They're like, no, we'd rather just sit around and get drunk. And they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But they're just polishing off pitchers of beer, and then they just, for no reason, they're like, yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, we don't back down from challenges. We're going to do it. And we meet the rest of his crew. One of them is an actor by the name of Dirk Blocker, who is currently on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I almost said NYPD Blue, but yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine as Detective Hitchcock. Mm-hmm. And I like to imagine that Detective Hitchcock and Blaylock are the same person, that he was just a big deal, like, football player in college, and it just went all the way the fuck downhill from there. And
CTE, man.
Yeah, exactly. CTE, and he had a full head of luxurious hair in this movie. Not anymore. So they agree that they're gonna do it, and they all decide to, like, cheers with their beer pitchers, and they break the pitchers and then still drink the beer like lunatics.
The glass,
just glass
shards.
We cut to the Zeta House sorority. They're cleaning up their sorority from the reign of terror from earlier, and Donna enlists the other 3 members of her sorority so they can get back at the football team. We'll one-up those bastards, for crashing our rush party and ruining it. And then we cut to, and they're all, of course, down, and cut to Harold hiding snacks.
Well, we gotta talk about a secret weapon.
Yes, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell everyone that Harold's dad
is like, you have to win this scavenger hunt, but not honestly. I'm a businessman.
Yeah, he's so gung-ho on Harold winning that he gives him this tricked-out state-of-the-art van with, like...
It's pretty bitchin'.
A magic... Oh, this van is badass.
It's like a flame job.
Yeah, there's like...
kind of rules.
Yeah. And it's got, like, a turbocharged engine and...
Like a dome on top, like a glass
bubble dome that you can,
like look around and shit.
Yeah, and there's a phone in the, which is unheard of in 1980. There's a phone in the van and a computer back when movie computers could do magic.
Yeah, it's a clue computer, specially built to compute clues.
Apparently the cops don't have one. Like, there's no murders in the Midnight Madness universe, right? Because the cops just use this.
Harold's father could, like, drastically lower the crime rate in America, but what's more important,
my son needs to win a trophy.
Winning a scavenger hunt.
Yeah. So we cut to Harold. He's hiding snacks in the van.
A strategic marshmallow stash.
Yes. Well, he's got Oreos that he puts up under the visor, and he's got some M&Ms, and he's got a bag of marshmallows, and he's, like, hiding snacks all over the van. And of course, Melio is there at his house at night. Just pops up. He's like, "What's going on, Harold? Why is he there? And why does Harold not know that he's there?" That's the fucked up part.
It.
Yeah. Emilio's got a lot of, like, issues.
Him and Blade are just casing the joint.
Yeah, Emilio has a lot of boundary issues. Like, he's that friend that just walks into your house without knocking. I'm not that guy, thankfully. But
you don't get to be that guy in Northwest Indiana without getting shot.
Oh, I can think of one guy whose name I won't say on this podcast who definitely is that guy.
I can think of one guy who did that and did get a gun pulled on him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing that story, yeah. He wandered into the wrong house, yeah. Mm-hmm. But, anyhow, Melio catches him, and Harold's like, "You gotta be quiet about these snacks. I can't go all night without eating, my blood sugar will drop, and, I won't be..." And Emilio's like, "Of course I won't tell," at least ingenuous possible, like, he at least genuine possible way. He's like, "I won't tell anyone, Harold," and he might as well have, like, done a big wink and said the word wink. When he said it. Like, you can just see cartoon gears grinding, like, Melio is trying to figure out the optimal time to bust Harold's snack stash out in front of everybody.
For maximal chaos.
Yeah, because he's just a little chaos gnome, you're right. He's Loki before Loki. So we cut back to the counseling office. Adam tells Laura that he wishes they could find one more guy for their team, and Flinch just happens to burst through the door in a tuxedo, announcing that he has a date. "No more public bathroom sex for me." And he's like, "It's a fix-up from my mom," and he shows off the date. This girl's wearing, like, a fucking prom dress. Yeah. Like, he's wearing a tux, she's wearing a prom dress, and he's like, "I just stopped by so you could give me some ideas for the date." I don't know, prom, a wedding, that's all you're dressed for.
Eyes Wide Shut party?
Yeah, Eyes Wide Shut. Flinch knows about those.
Yeah, I mean, he's
done with those.
He's never been on a date.
Yeah.
Been to those.
He's not exactly a virgin.
Yes, fucking solved the mystery.
What is Adam going to say in that? So I feel for Adam in this one scene, because Flinch is going to bust in and he's going to be like, what should we do on our date? And he's like, I don't know, you're wearing a fucking tux. Don't go play mini golf or whatever. You're going to look like an asshole.
Yeah.
I don't know, go to the movies, because at least it's dark in there and people won't stare at you. Oh wait, no, they're going to see you in a tux and think you work at the theater and keep asking you to tear their tickets. Like, you can't, where are you going to go to a restaurant? People are going to ask you to seat them.
Yeah.
You are not wearing an appropriate outfit for a date, Flinch. But Flinch don't know, because he's never been on dates, because it's just bathroom sex for him.
Yeah. So it shows the girl that Flinch has been fixed up with.
Yes.
And
she's Hollywood codified Uggo, which means she's got frizzy hair and glasses and braces and
glasses.
A ponytail.
Oh Lord, a ponytail! Lord, deliver us.
Yeah.
It kind of breaks my heart because Adam is like, "Oh, I'm gonna save you from this perfectly nice young woman."
They react like they open the door and there's a fucking chimpanzee in a suit. Like
they react like Aragorn, seeing the troll in the mines of Moria.
They yank him out the back door and they're like, you'll thank us later.
Yeah. She seemed nice.
Why? When I have to go home and explain to my mom that her friend got abandoned on the date that I ghosted her? Cool. You're making my home life great, Adam.
I made my mom's friend's daughter cry.
Some more patented Adam bad advice.
Yep.
He should definitely be a counselor.
I think he does it professionally.
Yeah. So they drag him out because, God forbid, Flinch be able to have a date with a person who they don't consider attractive. No, you can only date people that I would fuck. That's so weird. So we cut to Leon's apartment building, a.k.a. the starting line. Every member of every team is given color-coded sweatshirts so everybody knows what team they're on. Also, weirdly enough, their vehicles all just randomly happen to be color-coded to their team.
Randomly happen? Or is Leon pulling the strings?
Yeah, that's what I was...
That was the first criteria.
Yeah.
Like, none of this, A-type personality shit.
Yeah.
No, it had to be, okay, this person needs to have a red car, and this person needs to have a white
And then he just went out and found the Type A.
Yeah, and then he was like, okay, out of all these... I think he started with the vehicles.
Yeah.
That's what that's my personal theory.
There's something to that. Leon is a step up. Leon is light years ahead of everybody in every fucking angle in this movie, so that definitely happened.
You're just one microscopic cog in his plan, designed and directed by his red right hand man.
Yeah. Yeah. And as usual, Candy and Sunshine have that glazed over, we're in a cult and one day we will kill for you look for Leon.
Yeah.
Leon has a look on his face like he's trying to figure out how to illegally modify machine guns and keep them away from the government. And then how
do I fireproof my compound?
Exactly. He hands out the clues. Adam's team is the white team, Harold's team is the blue team, Levitas' team is the green team, Donna's team is the red team,
and Levitas' team has, they're the jocks, and they wear, they have, jock, appearance, a bowl cut and a cropped sweater.
Yeah, by the way, they hand out all these sweaters, and the next time we see the green team, they're all wearing sweatshirts, and one guy's already got a big rip in it.
All right, boys, pull off to Joanne Fabrics real quick.
Another guy's torn off the sleeves.
It's time to zhuzh.
Let's zhuzh this shit up while nobody's looking. Come on, girls, rip. Let's get on a show.
Let's get some fringe.
And one guy, the gross guy on their team, whose name is Armpit, and that's his whole personality is he looks like a slob. He's already got gouges missing out of his shirt. And how did he do that? Armpit, we can't leave you alone for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just a slob. But I misspoke when I said Adam is the white team. He's the yellow team. The white team is the debate team. The nerds who all look like Devo. Because they're riding on little mopeds later.
And they have white jumpsuits too.
Yeah, because they're awesome.
Yeah.
Because they're this is an adventure. We're fucking going full on. We're wearing flight suits.
We have uniforms.
They refer to themselves as squad. They have uniforms. Yes.
Yeah.
There might be some doomsday prepping going on with these guys that we're not aware of. Yeah. So the first clue is distributed, and the game begins. The first clue is the C is reversed. SS Atari is mixed up and blind. 38, 22, 33 / 56, 10, 11. The teams get their vehicles and they split up. And several teams come to the same conclusion. The clue means see the stars. The C is reversed. See the SS Atari is blind. So, and mixed up. Yeah, anyway.
Together, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. You guys don't care. But they all figure out that this means see the stars. And they're like, well, where do we go to see the stars? They all come to different conclusions.
Because Leon is great at his job.
Yeah, Leon's fucking good at his job. Yeah. He knows what's up. He's making this this is Midnight Madness, not Midnight Mediocrity,
Not Midnight Sanity.
This is the great all-nighter, not the pretty good all-nighter, William.
The up-to-par all-nighter.
How dare you? Yes, this is the barely adequate all-nighter. So, Harold, of course, uses his computer magic to solve the clue immediately, but not before making everybody in his team wait while he plays, I think it was Space Invaders.
Pong, I think.
It's Pong. It's Pong.
It was Pong, yeah. He was playing Pong on the computer. I was like, Harold, you made us all take Friday night to play this fucking game. Can we do it? And he's like, just a minute, guys. Pong, Pong, Pong. Okay, fine. He types in the clue and immediately solves it because computers are magic.
Yeah.
And the answer is that they have to go to the observatory. And
the Griffith Observatory.
Yeah, that's right. Is that place still around?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Cool. One of these days, when I come back out to LA, maybe we'll do the Midnight Madness reality tour and go to all the sites. Let's not actually do that.
We would, but the thing that sucks about the Griffith Observatory is almost all of the parking is at the base of the mountain.
Oh God, you gotta climb a mountain?
There's a shuttle during but only the very busy times. There's a little parking at the top, and I've only ever been able to park up at the top once. Yeah, so you gotta get lucky. But
let's not do that.
You can see where the Terminator killed some kids.
I am not a...
And a million other movies. La La Land.
Yeah, La La Land, Terminator, yeah. So, we cut back to Leon's apartment. He's got a giant map on the wall now of the city and all the destinations and several markers of his players that he's already made up. He knows what they're driving. Why? Because Leon is a step ahead of everyone. I'm willing to believe it. Normally in a movie I'd be like, this is bullshit movie logic, but Leon has spent a whole year crafting this game. So he meticulously stalked these people and figured out what vehicles they would use to make these little markers on his wall. It's fucking eerie. And there's a knock at his door, and it's his landlord, Mrs. Grimhouse, who is played by the bitchy old lady from So Many Things. She was on an episode of Different Strokes where she was Mr. Drummond's bitchy mom. She was the bitchy neighbor in So Many Things, and she's the bitchy landlady here. She informs Leon.
She's got her hair up in curlers and her house coat.
Yeah, no, everybody who visits Leon is always in a robe or house coat. I didn't know that many people owned robes. I own a robe, and every time I put it on, I feel like it's a fucking event.
Yeah. I had to provide robes for everybody today. They didn't have them. Yes. You podcasted in my house. You wearing a robe.
That's right. You're wearing a robe and slippers and smoking a pipe if you're at Will's house.
Yeah. And no matter how much Ed asks, I'm not tying mine. I likes the breeze. Sorry, Beth. I likes the breeze.
It's all right. I understand.
But he's wearing a pajama top. He's just shirt cocking people. Donald ducking, if you will. So, yuck. It all ties together. Disney, baby.
If I was wearing white Reeboks, no robe, no shirt, I would be Nigel Peppercocking.
That's true.
There's a deep pull.
That is deep. That is deep.
Anyone curious, Google Nigel Peppercock, fresh white Reeboks kicking your ass, and you'll understand.
Oh, man. So Mrs. Grimhouse busts in, just walks in, which is totally illegal, by the way. A landlord has to give you notice if they're to enter your apartment unless you invite them in.
Story.
Oh.
Story. So, my wife and I, the first apartment we lived in, which we only lived in for 1 year because it sucked. This apartment we lived in college, we were on the first floor, and the landlords were, surprise, giant pieces of shit, and they kept doing this thing where they would come in to show people around our apartment as an example unit, and they would email us at midnight and be like, "Oh, we're gonna be in at 8 a.m. tomorrow." That's not enough notice. No. They have to request within 24 hours, and they didn't request.
You have to get permission as well. Yeah, you can't just be like, "Okay."
And I told them this shit, but we're college students. We don't have I don't have time to fucking take them to court over it and shit. And they kept doing it, presumably because my wife and I decorated the apartment, didn't have beer bongs out and shit.
Yeah, so your furniture isn't made of cinder blocks.
Nary an egg crate in sight. So I'm assuming that's why they kept doing it to us. And then we had a roommate move in, and he so the way we got them to stop is we had him start sleeping naked on the couch in the living room, which is where the front door opened into, and they stopped.
Just one plate of cock is all it took.
Yep.
They just walked
Big
in,
white ass.
Like, now, you'll notice this unit. Oh, that's his unit, all right.
Yep, that's a unit.
All right, we're going to a different apartment, and you're going to see some bongs, but it's better. We'll all agree.
Yeah.
Oh, that is terrible. So yeah, Mrs. Grimhouse just busts in and tells Leon that he's already received several noise complaints because Leon has like every police band scanner and like the radio and the TV all going, creating this cacophony of noise so he can keep track of what his players.
So he can tell the future William S. Burroughs style.
Yes, that's what he's doing. He's doing a Burroughs-style novel about this whole game. And she says if he receives one more noise complaint, that she will be within her rights to serve an eviction notice. And he tries to appeal to her, but she says she just can't stand him or his decadent lifestyle, and she calls him a pervert because she is the only one in this movie
who
really knows what's going on with Leon.
She's seen the...
She is low-key the hero of this movie because she's the only one not under Leon's spell.
Leaving. She's seen the roller skate of shame.
Yeah. Candy and Sunshine. Yeah. Well, what it is if Leon's with Candy, Sunshine is like out of the house, Candy will leave a roller skate on the door, so Sunshine knows not to barge in.
I think they do their business all together.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know what their dynamic is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's an around the world kind of situation or if it's, they're both dating Leon. Mm-hmm. I hope it's an around the world. Those are the best kind. Everyone loves everyone. It's beautiful. The world needs more love.
Yeah. Also, this is where in my notes, as of today, a studio apartment in Hollywood Towers where Leon lives is just a hair under $2,000 a month for a studio.
Ew.
Yeah. Right.
No, thank you.
Yeah, Leon does not live in a studio though. He lives in like this weird, quirky ass apartment with like several rooms. I don't know, man. So we cut to the yellow team, and they've interpreted the clue. See the stars as obtain one of those Hollywood maps of the stars, and the clue will be on there. Mm-hmm. The green team heads the Hollywood Wax Museum because there's you can see all the stars. Yeah, the white team heads the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and they interpret the numbers as some kind of code that they have to figure out. So when they solve what they think is the code, they arrive at an important star. What star? Mickey Mouse, because Disney's got to suck its own dick for a second.
Yeah.
And the red team heads to, where do you see the stars? The Stargate Disco. So we cut to Burl and Donna are inside the disco, and they're trying to...
And by disco, it's clearly just a bar.
It is not even a bar. It is clearly a wedding hall from a hotel that they dressed badly to look like a disco.
Yeah.
There's like a bar in the corner, mostly a dance floor. There's shitty carpeting on the walls. Like, it is... clearly where somebody is holding their wedding reception as soon as they cut this set.
There's some irritated Knights of Columbus outside. Be like, you only got the set for another hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got presentations to do. But yeah, they're in the Starlight Disco, and in the Starlight Disco, we see Burl and Donna are trying to like pace out where they get to, and they're like, we don't. Where are we? And this sleazy disco guy comes up and tries to hit on them. Burl is having none of it and karates the shit out of him and flips him over because Burl is fucking great. Mm-hmm. And where were we? I don't know. I hope Peggy and Lulu are having an easier time with this. Cut to Peggy and Lulu. Everybody's watching Peggy and Lulu. They're fucking cutting a rug, getting down because they don't give a fuck about this game. They're here to have fun. That's why Peggy and Lulu are awesome.
Yeah.
They got like a whole dance routine with each other.
Burn up the dance floor.
They are smoking up the fucking dance floor, and I love them.
Doing the bump.
They're bumping.
The butt bump.
Yeah.
The best.
They have abandoned all of the fucks, and they're just being awesome. The twins rock. But we cut to Harold, who has the correct answer because of computer magic, and they get to... he's in the parking lot calling Leon, telling him, we're already at the first location. We're going to have this whole game solved by like 2 hours from now, so you might as well go to the finish line now. And Leon hangs up the phone and gives that smug, all part of my plan look, because nobody makes a move on their own in Leon's world. All tiny strings that Leon is pulling.
Leon is LaPlace's demon.
Yes. Oh, Christ. Cut back to Yellow Team. They're somewhere in the hills, in one of those places you always see in movies where, like, somebody's on the hill and they're looking out over all the lights in the city and they're like, look at all the little people down there. Unimportant.
Yeah, they're on, like, Mulholland or something.
They're like on Mulholland or fucking Laurel Canyon or some shit. Yeah. I don't know. And, they've got the map of the stars out on the Jeep, and they're, like, poring over it. They're like, are they map coordinates? Longitude and latitude? No, that can't be it. And Marvin has nothing to offer here, because he's the fucking driver, and that's all. He's just looking up at the stars. Cut. Cut to the green team, who, they don't even tell you how the green team could have figured out the answer, but somehow they're at the observatory. And the yellow team also figures out, oh shit, we need to go to the observatory. The yellow team arrives just as the green team is arriving. The yellow team gets there just a little bit before them, and the green team is already out in the parking lot, Tasmanian deviling it up, because they can't walk by anything without knocking it over, because they're all aggressive like football thugs.
And by the way, the green team, the jock team, they all ride together in a green Volkswagen Beetle with the words "meat machine."
Yes, the meat machine.
Meat machine.
That's the name of their defensive line, the meat machine. Mm-hmm. And they even have like a little cheer. We're MEAT. Yeah, it's so dumb. It's so
MEACHINE.
Meat machine. It's so dumb. I love it. Yes. I love it. I wish I had cool stuff like that I did with people.
This is so fucking stupid and nerdy, but I'm currently doing a playthrough of Dark Souls 3 with my friend Paul, and like the way I've
recurring guest host Paul?
Yes, that's the very same.
Fuck that guy. Go on. I'm kidding.
And
we'll have you back soon, Paul.
The way I did my character is that I'm a magic user that can also do like physical combat, so I have a bunch of points in health. I am the meat wizard. So my battle cry, meat wizard!
Cool. Well, now you should change it to
MEWIZARD, meat wizard, meat wizard.
Oh crap. So the yellow team is a step ahead of the green team, and they go to the telescope because they figure out the numbers must be telescope coordinates.
And I don't think you can just do that.
I've never been.
You can't just go. I mean, it's an expensive piece of scientific equipment.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking when they're operating the telescope, I'm like, can you just go? There's not like a person who works at the museum. It's like, okay, where would you like to look? But no, they're just operating the.
They just walk up to the multi-million-dollar deep space telescope. It's like going up to the Large Hadron Collider and be like, hey, guys. Come on, please.
Mind if I knock some atoms together, guys?
Come on, let me put a sandwich in here and see what happens. Let me walk in there and see if I get Dr. Manhattan. Come on.
I have it on good authority that if you put French toast in a ham sandwich in a Large Hadron Collider, that's also how you get a Monte Cristo sandwich.
That's how you kill Elvis.
That's the first time they did it retroactively killed Elvis. It gave that sandwich Dr. Manhattan powers. Oh, that got weird. Okay, so there's this fat kid, and I say he's a fat kid because this movie hates fat people. Mm-hmm. And he's just obnoxiously using the telescope, just sitting there being all obnoxious, and Adam's like, excuse me, would you mind if we had a look really quick through the telescope? And he's like, beat it, buddy, I'm doing a report for school on Venus. And then cut to POV of the kid. Mm-hmm. What's he looking at? He's peeping on a lady getting undressed.
That's right. It's an 80s family comedy. You know what that means.
Well, this is 70s family comedy, so this might have been the first instance of...
We have casual sexual misconduct, people.
That's right.
We have casual sexual misconduct played for laughs.
That's right. Sexual misconduct.
Played for laughs.
So the fat kid is perving out watching some lady undress. And he's gotten away with it, and he can't just let it be. He turns around, he's like, if I'm really lucky, I can see Venus's 2 moons. Such a horny Disney movie.
Why can't this fucking kid just go in the woods and find some soggy porno like the rest of us did?
Yeah, it's 1980. There's porn in all the woods.
Look through a fucking telescope, because you can definitely see a lady stripping.
Yeah, also, like, the observatory is up on a mountain overlooking LA.
That's what I thought.
Telescope just like
how?
Just lowering down.
How?
Yeah.
You get to the observatory, the telescope is sitting on the ground. Yeah. Like, there's an indentation and, like, soil on the fucking bottom of the lens because he's dug it down so hard.
Set up a mirror to, like, bounce it lower.
Because, I mean, it's LA. There aren't a lot of tall buildings in LA either. Like, that's just... So cut to the main floor of the museum, and the football team is down there wrecking the place because they're fucking savages, and we cut back to the telescope, and Adam, thinking on his feet, finds Venus in the skyline, and the telescope is not pointed at it.
Yeah.
And he points out to Venus. He's like, isn't that Venus right there? And the kid's dad, who's kind of hovering around, making sure Adam doesn't like punch his kid in the face, is like, what are you looking at in the telescope, son? And he's like, never mind, Dad. Let's go downstairs and look at the magnets, okay? Just in like this really weird, and he like leads his angry dad away, and you know, which they could have gone a different way, and his dad could have looked through the telescope and been like, "That's my boy," and I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm fucking glad they didn't do that. So Adam takes a look through the telescope.
God damn it!
And of course, Adam commits some more casual sexual misconduct for laughs.
Because he says, "I'm gonna come back when I have time."
Yeah. That's what
even
he says.
our
Hey,
good
Flinch,
guy.
Hey, Flinch, remind me to bring you back here when we've got more time. So he's leading Flinch down a path of just less than righteousness. Because it's the 70s and nobody respects any fucking boundaries. He's just as bad as this kid, only he has a goal that we're supposed to care about.
Even our good guy.
So Adam looks through the telescope, uses the coordinates, and discerns the next clue, which is being displayed on the sign at a bank. And the clue is, to find the next clue, find the 8800 keys. So, you know, they make note of the clue. The green team shows up, and they're like, what you guys doing in here? And they're like, we haven't found anything up here, so why don't you guys look downstairs? Adam uses some more first semester reverse psychology, because that's his power. He's like, why don't you guys look downstairs, and we'll keep looking up here. And he's like, got a better idea, Adam. This is Levitas. Why don't you go downstairs, and we'll look up here. And he's like, okay, you've got us, Levitas. We'll do that. And he just fucks off, you know. But before he fucks off, Marvin, being a thinking man, grabs the control of the telescope and moves it back to where it was set originally. So Levitas gets up there, and we have our third example of casual sexual misconduct for laughs. Oh, yuck.
The 80s / late 70s.
We cut back to Leon's apartment, and Leon gets a knock at his door. It's his neighbors. They've stopped by to ask him to turn all of this chaos down because they can't hear their TV. But their interest is piqued when the oldest of the three of them, she's like, is that a strategy board? Did I tell you guys when I was in the war I worked at the strategy board? And Leon sees his opportunity, and he pounces. He's like, let me tell you all about this game. And the next time we see those neighbors, they're fucking hooked. They're sitting down, they're like, wow, this is neat. Leon's got his talons in another unsuspecting group.
That's the real goal of the scavenger hunt.
That's right.
This is recruitment.
Recruit people for your goals.
He's just indoctrinating his apartment building.
Yeah. The old lady's like, strategy board. I used these in the war. Nagasaki never stood a chance. Old lady committed war crimes.
I was the one who decided to drop 2 bombs.
Truman said no.
Christ. This lady, darkness. Oh, cut back to the blue team. And they've used the computer to solve the next clue. The next clue is located in the Los Angeles Piano Museum. By the way, is that a thing?
No, I looked it up.
I want to go.
Because as soon as it said 8,800 keys, I was, or 8,800, or 8,800 keys, I was like, 1,000 pianos. And they go to a piano museum, and I looked it up because, like, that would be cool. They probably would have, like, Liberace's Clear piano.
Yeah, that is exactly what I thought.
I was like, that would be cool. I looked it up.
It's just like a piano superstore, which does exist.
It's probably...
I think there's one in Burbank.
I was gonna say it's probably that weird piano store in Burbank that's under an off ramp for some reason.
It's really weird.
Yeah, so
there's nothing else there.
It's under an off ramp next to the empty lot where the circus comes.
Right.
It's so fucking bizarre.
What if that store was once the piano museum, but they went out of business?
They decided to just start selling it.
Time to liquidate everything. We don't really have any good display pieces anyway.
Turns out the location underneath the off ramp, not great.
Yeah, Hard Rock stole all the good pianos from us, so fuck it.
Yeah. But yes, I was also heartbroken.
I want to go to a piano museum. I used to play
I think there is one in Vegas.
There have to be.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. I'll check. I'll check next time I go to Vegas. I've got so many places I need to go anyway, but the piano museum is on that list.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to see Liberace's piano.
Yeah.
I unironically love Liberace. We're at the piano museum. Everybody from the blue team leaves the van. Harold kind of sticks behind so he can just start shoveling marshmallows into his fucking mouth. And Lucille doubles back. She's like, Harold, what's going on? She opens the door. and he just happens to ditch this bag of marshmallows. Where does he ditch them? Somewhere smart. Under the circuit board of the fucking computer that they've been using. That's a good place to put marshmallows.
Yeah.
Is
something that could heat up and potentially.
Yeah.
Right by something with a heating element. That's a great place for marshmallows.
Damn it. An impromptu heating element.
Yeah.
A heating element. Not one of your official heating elements. We're talking stovetops, glass,
but
or
in
gas.
a pinch, if you need us more.
If you need a heating element in a pinch, that's true.
Put it inside your computer.
Your magic car computer.
Your magical 1980 car computer, which gets super hot because it's like using technology that is not available yet.
Because you're trying to run Crisis on it or something.
Jesus. So, yeah, he hides the marshmallows beneath the computer and just kind of vamps his way through, like, having, like, who puts 3 marshmallows in their mouth as a fucking snack anyway? One is good, Leon.
Yeah.
Or not Leon, Harold. One is good, Harold. You could have just popped one in your mouth and been cool, but you had to fly too close to the sun, didn't you?
He's trying out for the Blue Man Group.
Inside the museum, the rest of the blue team is fucking no use without Harold, and they're not even any use with Harold, let's be honest, but without Harold, they're just meandering about, like...
They're just like a Viking warband.
Well, it's like the AI on, like, a really early computer game, like, where you're supposed to do, like, an escort mission, and your escort friend keeps just running into the wall over again.
Walking into the spike pit.
You have to keep going back to him to get him to fucking...
You know what video game that famously happened?
What's that?
John Romero's Daikatana.
Oh, man, I hate that fucking game. John Romero, fuck you. I loved Quake. You bastard, you betrayed me. Anyway. Cut to a random-ass bus stop, and the yellow team drives by the random bus stop with a Jeep, and Adam announces, stop the car, because seated... at the bus stop.
It's a little boy.
A little boy.
A weird thing when you see a little boy died at a bus stop and you scream, stop the car.
Yeah.
You think this is going in a dark direction.
It is.
Have you ever had wine?
Yeah.
We're playing a game, little boy. Would you like to join?
Hey, all alone out here? Need a ride? We got plenty of candy in this truck.
Yikes.
It's terrible. But Adam reveals that the kid seated at the bench is his younger brother, Scott, who is played by a very, very young Michael J. Fox, who is still kind of twitchy.
Introducing Michael Fox.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't even have a J.
Yeah.
He's a pre-J.
Michael Fox.
And in this movie, Michael J. Fox, the actor, is 19, playing a 15-year-old.
He
looks like a child.
Yeah. He is 19.
I did not know
I did
that.
the math.
Holy balls.
Yeah,
That's
he is
amazing.
19.
I guess he's always been one of those super youthful-looking actors, though.
Okay, counter theory. Michael J. Fox presented a fake ID at some point in his life and just dialed in on it for the rest of his life. He's like, no, I'm 18, I can buy these cigarettes when he's 12, and he just has to stick with it for the rest of his life. So nobody knows.
Isn't that like what Mila Kunis did on That 70s Show?
Something like that, yeah. They asked her when she was gonna, or if she was, she's like, I'm 17, but I'm gonna be 18.
No, they asked her like, when are you gonna be 18? And she said her birthday, but not the year. She just didn't mention that, you know, that date 3 years from now.
Yeah, it was like 3 years where she worked illegally on that 70s show, and that's not even the worst thing about the cast of that show, but we're not going to talk about that. So, a young 19, I didn't know that.
That seems insane.
That can't be right.
There's no way
I think I made a mistake here. Now I'm thinking there's no way that could be right.
But what if it is?
I don't know.
He looks fucking 12.
He's like more Ralph Macchio than Ralph Macchio.
Yes!
He's like...
Okay, yeah, I must have made a mistake here because it said he was born in 61.
Okay.
And this is in 70, probably filmed 69.
Well, no, this is in 80s.
So it is
probably filmed in 78 or 79, so yeah he's like 18, 19.
He still looks incredibly young.
And he looks all of 7 fucking years old.
Yeah,
really.
you guys made me doubt myself.
No, Michael J. Fox made you doubt yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
But he's wearing braces in the movie that I think they probably just put on him to make him look fucking older, to be honest.
Yes.
And also, it doesn't help that he's wearing, like, a blue with yellow striped polo shirt.
Striped little boy outfit.
I think they only sell those to children.
Like, all he's missing is, like, bib overalls with, like, pictures of, like cartoony pictures of tools on it.
Yeah,
know,
and a fucking rainbow hat with a propeller.
Like a beanie.
Yeah.
And the bib overalls are also, like, shorts.
Yeah.
You know? Bib shorts are making a comeback now, and it's I love it. It's so weird. I love it. I see these dudes at work, and they're, like, hard as hell, but they're wearing bib overall shorts. I'm like, I tried to get a pair of those when I was younger so I could look like Vanilla Ice. Haha, fuck you. So, yeah, anyway, we see Scott has a bus ticket to San Francisco. He's just going to take a bus at night to San Francisco. Adam's like hell you are. We need to get you home, but I'm in the middle of this game, so you're with us for the rest of the night. And Scott's, like, acting like Adam is just the biggest asshole in the world for not letting this unaccompanied child
go to the hate. Go to hate Ashbury. Yeah.
Fucking
where he's gonna ball white guys. He's gonna ball.
Nice Billy Jack callback.
Callback. He wants to be his true self.
That's right.
I would be pissed too.
Either that, or he's like, I hear about this Steve Jobs guy. He's gonna get He's working in a garage right now, but he says if I come load boxes for him, he's going to pay me in stock. But we never find out that's what's going on. But I think that Scott was inadvertently stopped from being an important part of the early days of the Silicon Valley Revolution. Anyway, he drags Scott along for the ride. We cut back to the museum, and the blue team is still having no luck finding...
That's Harold's team.
Yeah, Harold's team.
Yeah.
And Barf does that thing. Barf is Harold's mentally challenged friend. He does that thing that every person who knows how to play it does when they walk by a piano, and they start playing the beginning of Heart and Soul.
Yep.
And Emilio joins in, because, goddammit, that's just what you do. And Harold...
Yeah, you thought these guys were all just a bunch of fucking Mongols raiding the steppe, and you know what? They have layers, damn it.
That's right.
They have beautiful... They live rich interior lives. They're musically inclined. They do a roaring impromptu interpretation of Heart and Soul.
Yeah, and Emilio bounces around and does it on several pianos for several different sounds. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Harold is having none of it, and he picks up a fucking piano bench and is about to clobber Emilio with it, and Emilio sees it, and he picks up a sign, and they're about to beat the shit out of each other because they are Mongols.
Yeah.
But then Lucille announces to everybody she found the next clue, which is a tiny little piano that says Leon's theme. And she's like, this is it. And they're like, what? What's the clue? And she sees a bunch of notes, so they write down the notes. And then they leave. And then
because if you see like a staff written out,
like draw it out or anything,
right?
Try to play it on
They have lines of staff written on a tiny piano that's raised up.
I wonder if this might be something to do with
in their defense, Ocarina of Time hadn't come out yet. That was still like 12, 13 years away.
They didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't think.
I mean, I see that, I'm like, well, you gotta play Zelda's Lullaby here. And then the secret door opens, and
Yeah, I would see the piano and immediately play the music attached to the piano. After I played Heart and Soul.
Spy Hunter.
I can't play that one.
Very easy. Chopsticks.
I never do Chopsticks. I do Love Me Tender. I do the Ode to Joy. That's the other one I always do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just fuck off, and they bump into the yellow team on their way in, and, Harold holds the door so Adam can't get in, and then lets it go so Adam falls down. He's like, oopsie, because Harold can't go more than 5 seconds without doing something obnoxious in this movie, or Stephen first loses his job, as we established previously. And the green team is, of course, still right on the tail of the yellow team, and they're wandering around looking in the museum, and we cut to the van, and Harold enters the clue in the computer, but the computer is malfunctioning because some dickhole shoved a whole bag of marshmallows underneath the circuit board earlier and forgot about it. And before we can establish what that means, we cut back to the inside of the museum, and the white team and the red team have also shown up. So it's just everybody but the blue team is just tearing this fucking innocent museum apart, and that's why they sell pianos now instead of our museum. And the green team finds the tiny piano, and Levitas plays the piano, plays the notes on the piano, and Blaylock immediately recognizes it. He's like, that is the Pabst Blue Ribbon jingle.
Mm-hmm.
The Pabst Blue Ribbon Brewery is the answer. And he yells it, and everybody who is a player stops and they're like, thanks, Levier. Thanks, Blaylock. And
yeah.
Oh!
So also, so the meathead jocks, they can both read music and play piano.
Hey,
and they can name that fucking tune.
Name that fucking tune.
Well, we find out later why Blaylock knows the beer jingle, but but
so they
Levitas has layers, man.
Blue ribbon on my mind. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And like when they say it's the PBR factory, like the angelic choir sings, which is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Also, there's a brief moment where when we check in with Adam's team, and he's like kind of explaining to Scott that they're playing the game, and Scott's like, "Well, I don't want to play the game. It's stupid." Well, fuck you too, Scott. Like the whole thing about Scott
he's a
is
little shit.
Yeah, he's like, Adam doesn't pay enough attention to me. Maybe have a better personality.
You should have let him go to San Francisco.
Right? Yeah, make him San Francisco's fucking problem.
Get him out of
Fuck
here.
You, Scott.
What a
Gotta watch out for your brother, man. Gotta watch out for your brother, because you go home and parents find out, oh, Scott fucked off to San Francisco. Well, how do you know that? Oh, I saw him get on the bus. Oh, really? Bang! You're murdered. That's what happens. Your parents kill you.
No, they would wait till they found Scott, living or dead. Then they do the murder.
Yeah, you're right.
Because they want to know if,
Guess what, Scott? You're the big brother now. Watch me choke Adam's life out of his body.
No, they thanked him. They thanked him. Adam is the good kid.
Yeah. I mean, just ask Harold's dad.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, he throws Adam out, and then Adam's on the street, and Harold's dad rolls up. Hey, looking for a place to stay? I got this bungalow my wife doesn't know about.
And a pool that needs cleaning.
A pool that needs cleaning. It's so dirty. Onward to Malibu. You're right, you should have left Scott.
Yeah.
So everybody races to the brewery, and we cut back to the yellow team, and Flinch has become the guy in the crew who's doesn't, and this is an important part of any movie crew, there's got to be a guy who doesn't want to go along with whatever the scheme or the tactic is,
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't think that we should do it. I don't think I should go into a brewery because I'm a minor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do a B&E, is like a thing. I don't want to steal other kids' bikes at... Never mind. But every crew has that guy who doesn't want to do the thing.
Yeah.
But Adam, Adam's like, relax, Flinch. You're seizing the moment. You're doing it. He talks him back into it. Flinch needs constant fucking hand holding. It's exhausting.
The guy in the crew doesn't want to do the thing. I distinctly remember one late night 4th of July when I was driving around with Kate, Ed, and another friend who will remain unnamed while Ed rolled down his window and was shooting bottle rockets out of his fucking cane like it was a gun at houses we were driving by.
Houses.
And our friend's like, I don't think we should be driving around shooting bottle rockets out of a cane, out of a moving vehicle. And we're like, shut up!
Shut up, nerd!
Yeah, man, make love. You are really not making love to the night right now, friend.
That's right.
We can say his name on this Matt, we can say his name on this podcast.
Yeah, he doesn't listen.
Yeah, asshole.
Matthew Ellen. That's his middle name.
Now that's how we're gonna know if he listens, because if he does, we'll be like, you guys fucking told everybody on the podcast.
So we cut to the red team, and the red team is stopped at a traffic light in front of a carnival, and Peggy and Lulu are like, this carnival looks way more fucking fun than this dumb game is.
Yeah.
Which involves a lot of running and fucking dealing with football players we hate.
Yeah.
Fuck this, we're going to join the carnival.
Maybe this is their home. Maybe they were conjoined at one time.
Peggy and Lulu, they jump right out the back of the pick-em-up truck that they're in.
Book it to
and
the
they
fucking
book it
carnival.
to the fucking carnival. They are making love to the night.
Yes. They are beautiful, powerful, and without remorse.
That's right. And so we cut to the blue team, and without the computer, they are as useless as tits on a bull.
Mm-hmm.
And they cannot figure out what the fuck these letters mean. Barf has decided he's going to help, because you get the mentally challenged. Maybe he's got some Rain Man in him.
Yeah.
And
before this happens, red team, when they're at the carnival to look for the twins, they park...
Oh, that happens later.
Excuse me. Okay, go on.
Don't you worry. And, I took copious notes this time, and I didn't put them on a bunch of Post-its that I lost.
I assume, like, the wind blows, you're like, oh no, my notes, and you're just trying to recompile.
Help me grab them.
Okay, so I do make notes for this podcast on Post-its, because it's easy to, like, tag jokes on them and stuff. This isn't all off the top of my head, people. It's just, I work hard to make it seem this disorganized. But since I am a naturally disorganized person, inevitably I end up mixing up the Post-its, so that's why whenever I host an episode, I get the chronology wrong.
That's why I have to be like, wait, Ed, doesn't that happen like an hour later?
Yeah. Oh shit, that does happen an hour later. But no, this time I was smart. This time I numbered all of my Post-its. I put them in a sealed envelope, and then I forgot that envelope in my house before I came over to record.
Yeah, when I woke up this morning to shower, I open the door, I'm like, is somebody watching Midnight yet? Ed was rewatching Midnight Madness because he forgot his notes.
Taking copious notes.
Yeah.
Not that I need them for this fucking movie. I saw it so many times in my life that I could recount its events as if they were a tale passed on in my family through generations. Let me tell you the story of Beowulf who slayed the Grendel. Let me tell you the story of Adam and his yellow team
Prometheus,
who had a jeep.
Who stole fire from the gods.
Yes. So
I think we're at the PBR factory.
Yeah.
Which is...
No, this is where we cut back to...
This is the carnival, and then...
Oh, no, we're at the blue team, who is useless without the computer. Barf has written down all the letters, and they correspond to notes, and he's trying to unscramble it.
Yeah.
And they're like, Barf, what have you got? And what does Barf say?
Fagabeefy?
Fagabeefy!
That's my favorite line in any movie.
That is Beth's favorite line in any movie. One day she will have a personalized license plate that says Fagabeefy.
No, they're not going to let her get that because of those first three letters.
Outgoing voicemail message for a while was him unscrambling Fagabeefy. For the only reason was because I thought it was so funny and it made me laugh so much that I had to put it. It didn't make any sense. It didn't matter. It was him saying Fagabeefy. It started, Barf, have you unscrambled those letters yet? And then it said Fagabeefy, and then it beeped. There was nothing identifying. It was
no context.
You didn't need it.
Some debt collector calls you, and they're like, I think you just called me a
I don't know what you just called me.
Calling about a matter of your dental bill. We're charging you extra now. Then we cut back to the red team, and Burl and Donna have figured out that Peggy and Lulu have fucked off to the carnival, so they park their vehicle, and they park it in a towaway zone.
Los Angeles, baby!
Which is everywhere.
Yeah.
I think my dumbest parking ticket story is I was seeing somebody perform at the Troubadour. It might have been, I think it was either... I think it was Company of Thieves that night.
Yeah.
Or it might have been Shooter Jennings. It was one of those two. Anyway.
Leaf Garrett, yeah, go on.
Yeah. And
David Cassidy, please. Yeah.
So I parked in, there's like those spaces near the Troubadour, in Beverly Hills area, and there's parking meters. So I pull up to a parking meter, and a car had left, so I parallel parked in at the only place I could, because, driving a big old goddamn Jeep Commander.
You drive an actual Jeep, Marvin.
Yeah.
I added you.
Yeah. So I fucking pay my money to the meter, and go to the show, a couple hours pass, come back out, and there's a ticket on my car, and I'm fucking pissed. I was like, what, what happened? I paid the fucking meter, and I realized that the other people that had parked there were just at a club and had left. And after they had left, my car was a little over, like, the little white, like, corner line that they paint. I parked the only place I could, because I had to parallel park in there, and I still got a fucking ticket.
Worst.
Assholes. Come on, L.A.
What about you, Stockton? You got any, got any bad parking stories you want to air?
No, unfortunately, they're all just fucking,
just frustrating and defeating.
Yeah, that's just driving in fucking Los Angeles for you. You're just gonna get a ticket.
Yeah.
You can't escape it.
Well, someday that purple line will open. Kate was rewatching Modern Family, and they're walking in like Little Tokyo, and there's a huge billboard that says "Purple Line coming soon." That episode was from 2013.
Jesus.
It's pathetic, and it won't happen in our lifetimes.
Yep.
So we cut back to the brewery, and just seeing the bottles on the assembly line makes Blaylock go a little insane with alcoholic lust.
Hang on. They're at the brewery.
Yeah.
So part of the conceit of the greatest Leon's Great Game is it's dusk till dawn.
Yes.
So this is just the late night beer factory
this
tour.
Doesn't seem right.
It's
It
so
doesn't seem like it would be.
Okay, I have seen
the people that would go on that tour.
I have seen there's a brewery in Milwaukee that offers beer tours 24
This is
hours a
Milwaukee.
day.
This is not.
But it's not LA.
Yeah.
The people in LA
also,
who
I
would
didn't
go
know-
to a late night beer, like a brewery. No.
I don't.
That wouldn't
think
happen.
Pabst was. I didn't know that Pabst was. I thought Pabst was brewed in Milwaukee, but I was wrong. I guess, or maybe now they're brewed in Milwaukee.
Maybe.
But,
There's a bunch of breweries out here. Like, I think
Yeah.
Bud is brewed here, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah.
but yeah, he sees this assembly line at this mysterious 24-hour fucking
Beer factory
beer.
tour.
Yeah, beer tour.
Aren't there kids on this tour as
There,
well?
we see kids. Yeah. Like, you see, when I grew up, I had this vision of LA from movies like this, where I'm like, man, shit happens around the clock at LA, and every time I've ever come to LA, nope, whole town shuts down by like 2 o'clock. If you're lucky, you could find a fucking 7-Eleven open. If you didn't get food before you went home, you better find a rat and kill it and eat it.
I mean, there is 24-hour stuff, just especially not right now with COVID.
Like, with the luck I have, though, I came out here once in 97, I came out here again for SinsCon, and I came out here one other time after that, and then, so this is my, like, 5th visit altogether in LA, I think, and,
Well, now it's just dismal because of the.
Yeah, no, I get it now,
Yeah.
but every other time I've stayed in hotels and stuff, and there is fucking nothing open anywhere.
Well, there are.
You
I'll
have
give
to
you
know.
this.
You have to
Yeah.
know because nobody walks in LA. You gotta fucking drive there.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of places you just have to
Yeah.
know.
I'll give you this, Ed. There are, like, entire neighborhoods that definitely, like, well, 2 a.m., that's it, you know?
Yeah.
Go to Denny's.
I have just happened to
Yeah.
stay at all of those fucking neighborhoods whenever I've come out to LA, I guess. I will find my 24-hour party people one day. But we cut back to the brewery. Like I said, Blaylock is going insane with alcoholic lust. And then we cut back to the carnival. Burl and Donna are hot on the trail of Peggy and Lulu.
And how are they tracking
hot
them?
on the trail? Funny you should ask, William. They stop by a snack bar that looks as if the gremlins have fucking gotten a hold of it, and it's completely devoid of snacks, and like all the cartons are just like crushed, and you know, because this movie fucking hates fat people.
Yeah.
That's a different character's joke.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
They can't even do their hate correctly.
I know.
Yeah.
We can't spread it around like that.
Well, no.
Come on,
If they were
this is
following
terrible.
Harold, Harold wouldn't stop and demolish a concession stand. They would follow Harold by a trail of abuse and dropped snacks.
Crying people.
And crying people, and then the occasional pile of potato chips that he didn't get in his mouth that he put in his pocket days ago. But we cut back to the brewery, and the next stop on the brewery tour is the refrigeration tank. And Blaylock is just overcome with fucking crazy eyes, and he dives into the cooling vat of the brewery tank because he is a lunatic with a serious problem.
He goes
It looks
berserk.
really fun. Ooh.
No.
Yep.
Okay. I will allow it.
Right.
If you would like, you may take a victory lap.
Oh.
Yeah! Go, Will! Yeah! I did it!
All right, now I'm tired.
Now your beers are too.
I wish you guys could see this because he always sets off 2 sparklers and I never know where they come
They're
from.
Roman candles, thank you.
I'm sorry, I did use my firework terminology incorrectly.
And you'll never know.
I'll never know.
Never know.
I don't know where he gets them or how he lights them, but it's amazing every time. So
keep them ready to
yeah,
go.
Blaylock has dove into a vat. We cut to the bar at the brewery, and Scott is trying to get a beer, and he's like, "It's for my brother." But the bartender's like, "No, you're way the fuck under. Are you 12? You look like you're wearing braces to
9?
appear older.
Yeah.
You look like for the rest of your life you're going to be able to play the same
At most, you're
teenager."
19 years old.
Yeah.
At
At the
most.
I'll give you this beer if you can recite the times table.
There we go. Yeah, bust out some long divisions, son.
Yeah.
You're not on that in your school yet, are you? So, but Scott is not a fan of the word no, and as soon as not even craftily, like as soon as the bartender turns away, he like jumps over the bar and tries to serve himself, which I've seen happen at bars before, and that's a good way to get knocked the fuck out. But so the bartender like blows a whistle and security comes to get Scott, and Adam hears the ruckus, and Adam runs up and he's like, I can diffuse this situation with my first semester reverse psychology, but apparently these security guards have had at least 2 semesters of psychology, so he doesn't know what the fuck to do, and the whole team ends up getting ejected from the brewery as a result because Scott had tried to sneak a fucking beer. And through dumb luck, fucking Scott, but through dumb luck, which is the only kind of luck anyone has in this movie, they just happen to be ejected from the brewery at the point where the next clue is being set up. And they see it, and there's these racks of beer cases that are being assembled by a forklift, and there's a picture of Leon that has been like painted on the cases. It's Leon, and a speech bubble says, Mr. Carson's obese male child. And the team parcels it out. Mr. Carson. Johnny Carson? Mr. Carson's... Johnny's Fat Boy Burgers. That is not a real restaurant, by the way. I looked into it. That was never a real restaurant. They just didn't want to pay the money to tall stacks to Bob for his big boy. Sidebar about Bob's big boy.
You gonna tell it a third time?
Have I told it on this podcast?
Twice so far.
I haven't heard it yet.
All right.
For the benefit of Beth and only Beth.
Yes.
Sorry, Sam, who's listened to every one of our episodes. Sorry, possibly Paul, but sorry anybody who's listened to our episodes. You're gonna think all that has ever happened to Eddie in his life is this, but
this and drugs.
You're not far off. Anyway, I have told a lot of drug stories on this podcast. So when I was in high school, I grew my hair out, and after I got out of high school, I'm like, I'm cutting off all my hair, and I'm gonna get an Elvis pompadour because I'm an Elvis guy. And I get my Elvis pompadour, and I show it off to all my friends, and somebody says, you look like the big boy mascot, and I fucking did. So I never wore my hair in an Elvis pompadour again, and years later, I got together with a girl who was, like, learning to be a hairstylist. She's like, let's do something with your hair. You like Elvis, let's give you a pompadour. And I'm like, no! She's like, what the fuck did I do?
I told you, Ed, you gotta stop it with the red checked overalls. That's your problem.
I look damn good in these.
One of the only people who can pull that off.
That's right.
In real life. And not in dollar statue form.
You know, now that I think about it, now that I'm older, I don't give a fuck. I should totally get a pompadour, and I should totally cosplay as the fucking big boy.
I mean, people would be into it.
Yeah.
I think people would be really into it.
There we go.
Yeah. But flaunt that beautiful head of hair. If I could, I would. I don't have enough hair.
No. And it's a celebration also that I'm the only person who is my age that I went to high school with that has their original hairline. So
I saw a picture of David Lynch today, and I just got so mad. Dude is in his late...
He's the hairiest, woolliest man
right
now.
Dude is in his late 70s and has the hair of like... Yeah, he has like Robert Plant volume in his fucking hair.
Luxurious.
It's incredible.
I would sleep on a bed of it.
Looks like
if it wasn't filled with dark David Lynchian dreams.
Secret. I would weave it into a sweater. Yeah. I would weave it into a sweater if that sweater wasn't also an indictment of the American dream.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, they don't want to pay out the tall cash to Bob of Bob's Big Boy fame. So they just make up their fucking fake-ass restaurant.
Can't believe this movie, this fucking Stargate disco.
How did they get away with it, though? Because it is...
Yeah.
The mascot is...
Plausible deniability.
No, their mascot is blonde and he's wearing a hat. It's different.
It's definitely not the same exact mascot.
No, that's Bob's Big Boy. This is Johnny's Fat Boy. He's not very big at all. He's little, but he's fat.
He has a mohawk and he's in a wheelchair. Nine of his Nazi Powerpuff Girls. This one has a mohawk and is in a wheelchair.
Oh, God. We cut back to the blue team.
That was from Aqua Teen, right?
I think so, yeah.
Andy Merrill's terrible German accent.
Oh, fuck. We cut back to the blue team, and Blade is trying to fix the computer. How's he trying to fix the computer? Stabbing it with a knife.
Blade. That's how you fix it.
That's right. When all you have is a hammer, everything becomes a nail.
Harold was probably like, listen, this computer has information we need. And Blade was like, information you need, huh? Flick. Like,
why don't you tell us what we need to know?
Yeah.
Great space work I'm doing for this podcast. I wish you guys could all see it.
It's great though. It is. I believed that Ed had a knife.
I was trying to stab.
The art of mime. I believed it.
That's right.
Now he's trapped in an invisible box.
Fuck.
Now it's in a strong wind, but we're inside.
Oh, how is there wind in this box? This makes no sense. Every day is a nightmare.
I always wanted to do if for whatever reason somebody like made me mime publicly, the bit I'm going to do is I'm trapped in an invisible
Let's unpack
box.
that for a minute.
The bit I'm going to do is I'm trapped in an invisible box, but it's airtight and I'm slowly suffocating.
That's great. If I saw a mime do that, I would definitely throw money at him after he was dead.
Who's the mime that does the abortion?
Oh, that's Billy the Mime.
Yeah, Billy the Mime is incredible.
Stephen Banks, Billy the Mime. I love him.
If I had like a genie podcast wish and I could get one guest on this podcast, I would have to flip a coin between Billy the Mime and Werner Herzog.
Now would he
But I think you could actually get Billy the Mime.
Maybe. He's LA based, right?
Yeah. He's my Facebook friend. Hi, Stephen Banks.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you lucky bitch.
So you might get him on the pod.
Oh, I love
In character.
We got a 6 degrees of separation situation going on.
Neat. Wow.
He's wished me happy birthday.
Oh, that's that is awesome. I'm such a fucking nerd for Stephen Banks.
Oh
I used
my
to
God,
watch his TV show on PBS. Like
I've memorized the Home Entertainment Center.
Same.
Special.
All right, so where are we?
Tangent.
Yes. Oh, that's this podcast, baby.
That's the
Absolutely.
That's
brand.
the blue team. Lucille is upset. She's yelling at Harold because, he fucking melted marshmallows all over the computer. And Emilio is, of course, exacerbating the situation because that's what he fucking does. Every time Lucille, henpecks Harold, Emilio immediately follows it by whistling to the rhythm of what she was just saying. And it's such a baller dick move. As a dick, I respect that because I've definitely...
Game recognized game.
Yeah, game recognized game. I've definitely been in situations with my friends who were couples that were fighting and making it awkward for the whole room, so I take it upon myself to just...
What if I made it worse?
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna ramp this all the way up so it's not awkward for them anymore and everybody hates me instead. That has definitely happened. And one bit that I do is while they're having an argument, I will hop from one side to the other and then I'll start interjecting what they should say next until I'm having the argument with myself and nobody's arguing and they're all just watching me like, can you please stop this? I'm such a fucking asshole. Why do you people like me? Anyway, so we cut back to the carnival where they find Peggy and Lulu. Where did they find him? You guessed it, a Guess Your Weight booth, and they're winning because this movie hates fat people. So cut back to the brewery. Blaylock has been fished out of the vat and is probably facing criminal charges if they catch him because he just contaminated the product.
Or if you can be deemed to stand trial after all the brain cells he fucking just lost.
That is true. He is cackling like a madman who is given over to alcoholic lust. He's there's this old episode of the 66 Batman TV show where King Tut traps Batman and Robin and plays this song for them that's supposed to drive them insane, and that's how Adam West is playing it. He's cackling like a lunatic, and that's what Blaylock is dialing in on here.
Timely reference, Ed.
Yeah.
I was channeling Paul for that. That was a very Paul barb.
Yeah, fuck you, Paul. See, this is what Will does. He gets me all wound up, so I hate Paul. And then I start hating on Paul, and Will's like, Paul's a really great guy, Ed. Why would you do... You're Emilio, you son of a bitch! We were all Emilio. So, we cut back to Leon's apartment, and now the neighbors are completely, emotionally invested in the game. Leon has given them snacks, because he's a good host. Candy and Sunshine are fucking coming with beers and chips and shit for him. Almost said a dirty word there.
Whoa.
Did you hear that? Almost said a see you next Tuesday word. I never say that unless someone's being a real, controlling person. But more neighbors show up because Leon's making a lot of fucking noise and pissing them off. And but this is neighbors from several apartments. You can tell because they just don't look like they're these. This first group was a family, but these guys are there's a bachelor dude with a weird animal print robe and an older guy and some younger ladies, and they're we can't hear a damn thing in our apartment. You're making all the noise. Do you have to have 7 radios going at once, you lunatic? Wait, Walter, what are you doing in here? Oh boy, it's the best game ever, because Walter is fully drunk the fucking Leon Kool-Aid, and he
Perhaps
is
literally.
doing Leon's work. Yeah, there might be some drugs in these beers they're getting served.
Yeah, because Leon is basically bribing these people with alcohol.
Yeah, and so, they step in, they're like, no, what's this game about? And he starts breaking down the game, and Leon's just sitting back like the puppet master he is, just thinking about, maybe Texas would be nice. Maybe I should relocate there. It's probably cheaper than LA. Anyway, we cut to Harold and the blue team again. Barf has formed a cat's cradle with loose wires from the computer, so that's just a fucking lost cause. Melio has stolen some of Harold's, Oreo snack stash from earlier and, devoured it, and Melio and Lucille are, asleep against a wall, and Melio is, sleeping on Lucille in a way that, if you were in a relationship with somebody and your friend was, asleep on them like that, you'd be like, hey, that kind of wasn't cool, man. That's... You're really but that's their friendship, apparently.
I wouldn't feel threatened by Emilio because he's not going to bang somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend.
I think he would.
I don't think he would because there's more drama to be milked from slowly destroying their relationship from the inside.
Ooh, that's true.
If there's a cheating thing, then it's just over. They're gonna fight, it's over. But he wants to draw it out.
The devil I know, not the devil. You're right.
Yeah.
But, if I was Harold, I would feel threatened because why is anybody dating Harold? He's just the worst human being in this movie of terrible human beings.
Bitch and
Except for Scott.
Yeah, except for shithead Scott.
I think
Scott's kind of a shithead, but I
think Scott is less likable.
Yeah.
I think he's the least likable.
I'm with Beth on this one.
Yeah.
Shithead Scott.
Yeah. He's the worst.
Okay. I don't know.
He doesn't have his J yet.
He would be worse if his personality wasn't saved by the affability of Michael J. Fox, I will say.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd probably punch the TV if he came on the screen and anybody else was playing it. Mm-hmm. But we cut back to... they're driving around and Harold can't figure out where they're supposed to go next. And he's like, Melio, are there any cookies left? Melio's like... Gee, no, there's no cookies, yelling it right in Lucille's ear, and she wakes up and she's pissed at Harold, and we cut to the red team, and they arrive back at their truck just in time to see it being towed by the world's shittiest and most obnoxious tow truck driver. They're like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm a little elf, and I'm towing this back to the North Pole. Fuck you, dude.
Thanks for making the worst out of my month even worse.
This is going to set me back in 1980s money. This is going to set me back dozens of dollars, which means a lot more. But realistically, I believe in Hobart, Indiana, at least, a tow is $500. If you to get your car out of impound. So I can only imagine in LA you have to give them a kidney. Yeah. There's financial aid forms that you fill out for the surgery to remove one of your kidneys. That's how bad it is. But he's taking their truck back to the North Pole, and he's laughing at them because this guy's just a piece of shit.
Yucking it up.
And we cut to Johnny's Fat Boy. The yellow team and the blue team pull up, and Harold decides to play some dirty pool. The yellow team runs inside, blue team hangs back, and Harold decides to do the chicken shit thing and fuck up the Jeep. He has Blade puncture all 4 tires. He has Barf siphon out all but a gallon of gas. What a fucking dick. And on top of it all, the cherry on top is that he steals the fucking hubcap. Because 3 hubcaps on a car is infuriating. So we cut to the white team. They show up at Johnny's Fat Boy on their scooters.
How did they figure this out?
Who cares?
Nerds.
We don't really care about what goes on with the nerds.
We really don't. No, they're here to facilitate just the plot at points. But everybody's standing in the front area where they're waiting to be seated, and they see on the specials board Leon's Special, which says, "Have a seat and enjoy. Look between 2 giant melons." So we cut to all 3 teams sitting at separate tables, ordering every kind of melon they have in this restaurant. Why do they have so many different kinds of melons? There's cassava melons, honeydew, cantaloupes,
it makes
watermelon.
sense, I guess, for the little fruit salad that they give you, but not to this
But
extent.
yeah, everybody's
Look,
got,
it's L.A., it's the late 70s, they probably got
everybody
grapefruit
was-
and cantaloupe.
Yeah.
It's amazing they didn't also just give them a giant jar of cottage cheese to slop on top.
Right.
every one of those cantaloupes has like a jar of cottage cheese emptied out into it like a bowl.
And this kind of also pissed me off because this is when these people stop being horny. They're like, oh, giant melons. There's only one way to interpret that. This is where they stop being super horny.
You don't think tits all
Yeah,
of a sudden?
come on.
So yeah, they can't parcel out, but eventually somebody figures out that the two giant melons are the large breastises of the waitress.
God.
And she's wearing a necklace, and it says something. So they're trying to get a look at the waitress. How do they do that? Get her attention? Oh, can I get a refill?
Well, hang on. And the way the shot is framed is and again, as I said, the horniest Disney movie. So this poor waitress, she's wearing like sort of like an apron with like a button-up shirt, and she has it unbuttoned, and she bends down, and then one of these fucking doofuses sees it like, oh, two giant melons, and you see her necklace. It's so hornily
so
done.
gratuitous.
Yeah, like Quentin Tarantino feet, just front and center.
So everybody is trying to get her attention. First they're like, oh, can I get a refill? And somebody's like, oh, there's a bug over here. Mm-hmm. And then somebody decides, oh, I'll get her attention. And they just throw a plate on the ground and break it. And they have
set my teeth
over
on
into
edge.
evil here.
I was grinding my fucking teeth. They better tip this lady $1 million goddamn dollars.
You know they didn't even fucking pay their bills. They just dined and dashed.
No, they all did pay their bills. They
threw a handful of change like they were fucking medieval lords paying off the peasants.
They're taking out their pennies.
Well, that was back when like coffee was like a nickel.
It's still, come on.
But yeah, you hear them like slap change on the counter at one point. And you're like, she's not getting a good tip.
Yeah.
But this is back when they were like, we tipped you $2. That's a life-changing amount. I don't know what the economy was like in 1980, but that's like 30 comic books worth of money. That's all I know. But so eventually Harold has to be the most obnoxious and just clears all of his, like, brushes everything off of the table like he's about to either pour out a treasure map or make sweet love to Lucille in front of everybody to get the waitress's attention. And eventually some hijinks ensue and she slips and her necklace flies off of her head.
Do these qualify as hijinks?
These are medium jinks.
These are mid jinks. Yeah.
Medium to low.
Mm-hmm. It's a recurring joke on our podcast when
there are levels of jinx.
There are level of jinx.
I'd say this is Midland jinx.
This is Midland jinx. I guess they're not low jinx.
Medium to low.
Yeah, mid to low jinx.
On a scale of 1 to 5, clearly a 2. Not
two
quite
jinx.
low. A 2 level.
These are two jinx. Two jinx.
One jinx.
Not just
plus
a jink.
one other jink.
There's not just a jink happening.
Jink,
there's at least two jinx.
Oh, fuck. Eventually they find the necklace, it flies off of her neck and into the bus tub of the poor busboy, and then it shows them all like mauling him, and then eventually somebody picks up the necklace and it says, hug me. What if this wasn't the clue? I mean, I know it was, but like so many people walk around with dumb things like that. Like,
or her name.
What if that's
like
waitress
Charlene or something?
Yeah, there we go. It says Marion. Okay, what do I have to marry? And they just go.
Who are we marrying? Yeah.
And meanwhile, she's got the clue like tucked between. But no, that doesn't happen. It is hug me. On the way out, Lucille makes Harold, while he's settling up his bill and probably not paying any extra for the table he cleared, that he has to buy her a Johnny's Fat Boy mascot doll because the Fat Boy mascot looks like Harold. And I burned with rage for a second because of my real life. I'm like, don't make me like Harold. So we cut to the yellow team, and they're walking along trying to unscramble hug me, because unscrambling seems to be like the theme here so far. And Flinch pops out and rattles off a Rain Man-like list of anagrams for hug me, and it stops at huge M, and they're like, oh, there's only one place with the huge M. The next clue is
Hollymood.
Obviously McDonald's. No, it's neither. They do not go to the Hollywood sign. They do not spend the next 17 hours looking at every McDonald's in the fucking valley. Yeah. Which even in 1980 probably still had to be like 30 of them.
Yeah.
But no, they figure out that the huge M stands for mini golf at Mini Golf World. And we cut to but before then there's another really shitty will they won't they moment between Adam and Laura. And as they walk up to the Jeep, they see that it's been sabotaged. And as they're standing there like, who would put 4 holes? Harold rolls up like a fucking asshole and teases them. And he honks the horn, and we find out that this custom van that Harold's dad has had tricked out for him has a custom horn that makes the nya, 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 nya sign.
He knows his son.
Oh, yeah. Now we know where Harold gets his shittiness. So, and he drives off, and fuck Harold. And everybody's like, the game is over. We can't possibly win. And Adam takes this moment to rally the troops, damn it. He gives them his darkest before dawn speech, tells them they're going to split up. Adam and Flinch are going to go to Mini Golf World so they can stay in the game. Marvin's going to go find a phone so he can get the truck fixed. Laura is going to stay at the Jeep with Scott, who immediately fucks off. Because that's what Scott does.
Shithead Scott.
Shithead Scott.
The worst. We
cut back to the brewery, and Blaylock is like shithouse drunk. They're trying to drag him out of the brewery, and he passes out. And the green team is fucking out of the game at this point. And then we cut back to the red team, and the shittiest tow truck driver ever, and fucking Burl is having none of it. She knocks the tow truck driver out with like a karate kick and steals the fucking tow truck because Burl is a straight up fucking gangster.
Yeah.
She steals the tow truck and drives off with it with the truck still attached. Like, vehicular theft has been committed now. Like, she's possibly punched out a civil servant. Mm-hmm. This game is great. It is the great all-nighter now.
Yeah.
So we cut back to Donna, who's looking for Scott. Scott is fucked off to another area in the parking lot where there's a station wagon, a little dog sticking his head out the window.
A rascally dog.
The dog. There's so much rascaliness with this dog. Mm-hmm. And he's petting the dog. And he's like, why would somebody just leave a dog locked in a car like this? And maybe Scott's not so bad, Donna thinks, you know? And Scott confides in Donna that he feels invisible around his house because Adam gets all the attention.
Maybe he should suck less.
And and the only way you can get Adam's attention is by being a little shit.
Oh, he's one of those kids that
one of those kids.
Doesn't know the
difference.
Good
Attention.
Between good and bad attention.
Yeah. He's the youngest of the family. That's what fucking happens with every person I know with like several siblings. The youngest one is always like a giant shithead when they're kids. You know, they cool out when they get older and they realize that it doesn't fucking matter. Or some of them have chips on their shoulders for the rest of their life, and it's weird. I met your brother the my fucking brother. Let me tell you about my brother with his college education, and I couldn't go outside at 10 o'clock because I was my parents were worried I was going to knock someone up like he did. Just because when you have too many kids, you become insane. So anyway, maybe Scott's not so bad, but it's fucking Scott's birthday that day. His parents have gone out of town. His brother is fucked off to the great all-nighter. I'm kind of on Scott's side here, man. His whole family forgot his birthday.
There's a reason.
Yeah, because of his personality, the way he behaves.
He's going to San Francisco to start over, man. He's going to San Francisco to get in on the ground floor of Apple computers, and he's going to show all them.
They did not forget.
This was
ignored?
Calculated.
Oh, that's so much worse. So Adam and Flinch are attempting to flag down a car, like hitchhiking, which would never work today. That's just a one-way ticket to either getting laughed at by somebody or
murdered.
Just straight up murdered. Molested to death. But
holy shit.
The only car that stops is this slow-ass antique, and it's a sweet-ass car, too.
Yeah.
It's like an old Cadillac or Chevy or something, and it's got fins, but it's going super slow, and it's driven by this super old couple.
The most David Lynchy old couple.
It would not be out of place in like Blue Velvet that they gave Jeffrey a ride somewhere. That's absolutely, and it was all the same lines.
These old people. Did somebody drop a fucking box full of black smoke somewhere? Ed hasn't seen Mulholland Drive, so he doesn't get that joke. But
oh my god.
Watch this. I haven't seen Twin Peaks either.
Oh god.
I just saw a human jump out of their skin
I threw my pen at Ed.
He did.
Now I got nothing to fucking take notes with.
Physically hurts me.
I'm gonna get around to it eventually, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
we were talking about Twin Peaks the other day, and I had that fucking Black Lodge wrapping paper and the tiki doll. I was like, give it to Beth. She probably has good taste.
And I was like, oh, she loves Twin Peaks.
So I was
didn't know it was
It's
a
my
Twin Peaks
favorite
thing.
show of all
Yeah.
time.
But
now I'm hurting.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to try and get over it.
I will watch it. I had this conversation with Sadie once, and I promised Sadie I would watch it, and I live up to my promises. I will do it. It'll happen in 2021.
We can't talk too much about Twin Peaks because Ed has two modes. He has, I'll put it on my list. Okay,
It's on my list.
Everybody's telling me, okay, it's moving up the list. It's moving up the list. It's, okay, you know what? Too many people said it.
this.
No, I'm never going to fucking watch it out of spite.
That's Game of Thrones. Well, actually,
That's
no,
Game of Thrones. That's Doctor Who.
With Game
That's
of Thrones,
Archer.
Game of Thrones has been spoilered to death for me, so I will take no joy in just taking off the list of things because I just can't forget all of the spoilers that I've been told.
I mean, I read the books and I still like the show.
Yeah, because
but you read the books. You didn't have some fucking friends tell you and like badly, or your own dad in this. Oh my god. Okay, so every Monday.
You know what? I still like Star Wars and like nobody sitting here didn't know that Darth Vader was Luke's dad before they saw Star Wars. Really?
I'm old, dude.
Yeah? It wasn't already parodied to death by the time you saw it?
No, I saw it when I was a little kid, too. But, like, yeah, I didn't know that Darth Vader was his dad until the first time I saw Empire at the drive-in, which we saw before Jedi came out, you know?
Wow.
I'm old. I was like 6.
You got me there.
Yeah, so Adam and Flinch flag down this Lynchian old couple, and they pick them up, and they creep along, and they're getting passed by everybody on the fucking road, and we cut back to Leon's apartment, and everybody who lives in the whole building is now, like, on the floor, emotionally invested. The sleazy guy with the robe is taking action on the... on bets on if the green team even finishes. Bets on who's gonna run.
This whole game is Leon's plan to try to fuck everybody in his building at once.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Why do you think this finishes at a hotel? Because there's gonna be so much effluvia after this sex orgy that he can't live in that place. So it's going to need to be a hotel. And if you turn on to this day, if you go to that hotel and you open a black light in that room, you go blind instantly. It's been painted several times.
It's like the surface of the sun.
It doesn't matter. Yes. So, Mrs. Grimhouse returns to serve the eviction paper. She's like, as loud as it is, I know there's one more complaint, so you're evicted. And Leon turns everything around on Grim by pointing out that all of his neighbors are in here. Do any of you have any complaints? They're like, no, we love this. Mrs. Grimhouse, oh, you, Leon! And she storms off. We cut back to the old couple driving Adam and Flinch. They're fighting about poached eggs, which could totally happen in, like, Blue Velvet. I can see it. And this is life-draining, not just for Adam and Flinch, but for me, watching it, writing notes. And Adam is having his dark night of the soul, and he just wants to give up. And it's Flinch's turn to turn the tables on Adam and motivate him. And he tells Adam, he's like, wasn't it you who said never walk away from a challenge and have a positive attitude? Well, watch this, and he ditches his asthma inhaler
Don't
out
need
the
this.
window. Don't need this anymore.
I don't need my fucking lifeline anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, and it just, I won't die.
Yeah.
He's gonna die of an asthma. Yeah. I don't need this in this game where I have to run.
Hunt where you have to. Oh my god.
It would be like if a guy was in a wheelchair because he didn't have legs. He's like, I believe in myself, and just grows legs.
Rolls the chair away.
Yeah, you know, grows legs.
Jumps out of
walks to the road.
Just jumps out of the chair and lets
So
it go.
Flinch throws his inhaler out and then dives out of this moving vehicle, which would be dangerous, but it's going like negative 2 miles.
Yeah.
Like, actually, the street is going faster than him outside somehow. I don't know how that happens.
LA, we got tectonic plates moving around.
I am not a physics guy. So he stops in the middle of the road, he whips off his tuxedo jacket, pulls off his tie so you can know either A, he means business, or B, he's had a couple of drinks at the wedding he's at. Because that's every wedding. You rent a tuxedo so it can sit on the back of your chair while you dance. And you have various states of unbuttoning throughout the rest of the wedding. But anyway, he stops the next vehicle, which is a convertible that is driven by two...
Paul Williams!
No, the girl does have Paul Williams. She looks kind of like Paul Williams, though.
Paul Williams.
She looks a little bit like Paul Williams. No, two nubile co-eds. And Flinch commandeers their vehicle. He's like, move over, toots. We're going to mini golf world. And she's like, we're not going that way. He's like, you are now. You won't regret it. And they're like, okay, we're down. They're giggling the whole time. They're very high is what's happening.
Confident.
They're very high. And he's like, move over. And they're like, okay, I have to move over. this weed is so intense.
Is this guy really here?
Is this, yeah, like, he sounds like he knows what he's doing. We better go along with it. So he and Adam
He might
hop
be
in
a
the
cop.
car. Yeah, there we go. He seems like an authority figure of some type.
He's got a tie on. He's probably a cop.
We cut to the miniature golf world. The blue team has shown up first. They find a blue envelope that informs them they have to play an entire round of golf. And it specifically says, do not go directly to the 18th hole. So Harold reads this as, hey Harold, go directly to the 18th hole. Ignore the thing Leon just said. Why would Leon have a contingency set up for this? But no, that's what he does. Harold does that because he's just the fucking worst and also as bad at this game as you can possibly be.
Harold also gets mad here, and he yells something that to my ears like, give me some lube.
Give me some room!
He says, give me some room.
Give me some
Paging Dr. Freud.
I heard give me some
It
lube.
makes sense. You're trying to get a ball in a hole.
There we
Yeah.
Sure. Give me some lube.
Give me some lube.
Cut to the green team, who has finally left the brewery, and they're in the parking lots. They pull up into a parking lot so Blaylock can get out of the car and vomit, and it just happens through dumb luck to be mini golf world while other people are pulling up. So they're back in the game, baby.
Because
Even
LA
though-
is just a tiny little
Yeah,
place.
LA is
Yeah.
a tiny place.
And all very close together.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
very close. Free what? They're back in the game. They're allowed to do it even though they missed a whole ass stop because there are apparently not many rules to this game. And, Flinch and Adam get dropped off. And Flinch peels not one but two numbers off the girls in the car because Flinch is suddenly filled with confidence and
A
swag.
Leon level.
A Leon level of swagger and confidence.
Leonian.
Just all he had to do is take that fucking jacket off.
Yeah, it's just too bad he's gonna die of a fucking asthma
Yeah.
attack
Yeah,
in like
it's
20
okay.
minutes. Like on like the 9th hole of this course, he's gonna be like,
Oh, can't confidence my way out of this.
oh shit! What about achieving your goals? Can't do it when you're not breathing. Flinch shouldn't have thrown that shit out the window. So we cut to Harold at hole 18. He finishes a game and a flag with a note pops up and he reads the note and the note says, Dear team, I told you not to cheat. Now if you want to find the clue, you have to go back and start all over. Because Leon anticipates Harold's bullshit. And the rest of the yellow team has shown up in the Jeep, which has been retired? Given new tires?
Baby got a new
in the
set of
middle
shoes
of
on
the
her.
fucking night.
Yeah, he found an
also.
all-night fucking place that has
not
monster...
even in LA.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
they do
monster
this.
truck, like not monster truck, but like big fucking off-road tires
Yeah.
for this Jeep
Sure.
too. Not easy to find, Like they just happen to find 4 new ones, or maybe they just patch up the 4. I don't know. I didn't get a clear look at the tires, and I'm sure the director didn't have that much of an eye for detail in this movie anyway. And there's another will they won't they moment between Adam and Laura, and it sucks. So Harold has started all over again in line at the golf course, and he's behind a screaming-ass family with screaming-ass children. Again, to dial back on what William said at the brewery tour, this is the great all-nighter. Who's taking the kids out for mini golf at what must be like 2 a.m. at
3
this point?
a.m.? Yeah.
Like, fucking,
is-
hey, the bars are out. Time to take
This
the
is
kids
a
out. for,
creepy,
Yeah.
creepy
This is,
situation.
I want to live in this
also.
city.
Look, we all know at midnight that mini golf becomes adults only sexy mini golf. Don't
Yeah.
bring your kids.
No.
Come on.
Wait.
I'm trying to hang
Wait.
dong here.
Erase that. That's a great idea. We can make money off of it. Make sure we write down that you're going to go back and edit that part out so nobody scoops us with our adult mini golf course.
Sexy time mini golf.
Adult sexy mini golf.
Oh,
Nothing
man.
mini about it when I'm there.
From
Except
dusk
my
till
tiny
dusk
dick.
till dawn.
First one to get 18 holes and then get 18 holes wins.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
dear Lord. So, cut to the yellow team, and Scott's trying to help. He's not even being a shithead here. He's like, Adam, I play this course all the time. What you want to do is you want to hit the ball here. And Adam's like, will you fucking get away from me, Scott, you son of a bitch? Like, unnecessarily just lets him have it for, like, trying to give advice. And then, of course, Adam whiffs the shot and is a dick to Scott again. Scott didn't deserve it this time. A lot of times.
How was
in the
Adam
movie.
to know? How
Yeah.
was he to know?
How is he to listen to the person who says, I've done this before, maybe you ought to listen. I'm fucking 15. I know mini golf, So, We cut to the green team, who bullies their way through the course. I want to see what happened when they encountered the screaming family, because I can't imagine it didn't end with kids getting punched in the face. And for my money, there's nothing better when kids get punched in the face in movies. So,
and the jocks also
for comedy.
throw the nerds.
Oh, that's coming.
Golf
that's
balls.
Coming. Yeah,
we're just spending a lot of time on this.
You're right. Well, there's the standoff at the hole, and there's the white team and the green team, and they go to throw the ball, and the white team is like, do you have to solve everything with violence? And they're like, you're right, we shouldn't. Let's have a debate about this. What do you think? And they throw it in the fucking water. And it was cute. I liked it. it was some advanced level bullying that they did.
And then the nerds, we see them in the water with waders on?
Yeah, because when you...
Did the golf course have those?
Yeah, when you go to a golf course and you're like, hey, I accidentally hit my ball in the water, they're like...
you go get it.
Yeah.
You have 9 balls at this course. You fucking go in there and get it.
It's definitely not someone's job to get those. It's your job.
This draconian golf course.
Golf court... Well, I mean, they spend a lot of money keeping the fucking golf course open 24/7, apparently.
Yeah. That money's got to come out of somewhere.
Well, the green team finds the clue first because they play up to the appropriate hole, which is like a castle, and the fucking door rises up and the clue is written on it. The next clue is look at xylophones, parentheses, initially 5:30 a.m. And, we cut to the yellow team, who also has the clue, and Laura figures out the next spot is LAX airport. And we cut to LAX, and the green team and the red team have shown up at the same time. And the white team has shown up, and the white team, in the only move in this whole fucking movie where the white team does anything before anyone else, and they're not just picking up the scraps, they figure out that 5:30 a.m. refers to 5:30 a.m. radio, the airport info station. Mm-hmm. And Leon has pirated, patched into the radio station, which is totally illegal. It's like that, in fact, at the airport especially, that's like an FAA frequency.
No, not the airport information station.
He's committed several levels of federal fraud here. But to inform everyone that the clue is found at terminal number 3. So everybody races to terminal 3.
And in the most unrealistic part of this movie, the nerds just find parking at LAX. This movie was at all realistic, then the nerds would have been like, we gotta get to Terminal 3! And then 9 hours later...
They've driven around.
Yeah.
And around.
Yeah.
And then they have to find 5 parking spots for 5 mini bikes.
Yeah.
Fuck. But yeah, everybody parks at LAX, and it's not a big deal at all, because that's what happens at airports. It's not at all a problem. They don't have a separate lot for you to pull over and figure out your parking situation.
Yeah.
They don't have to fucking come up with $50 each or anything.
Yeah. And when you do park at the actual parking structures at LAX, if you leave, sometimes they'll interrogate you and make you play a little quiz show to make sure you didn't steal that car. Yeah, they're like, oh, where are you going? Where are you coming from? What's your car? What's your license plate number? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you know your license plate number off the top of your head? Yeah. LAX.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
So the white team is immediately accosted at Terminal 3 by some religious fanatic Hare Krishna types.
You don't see those so much anymore.
You don't. Well, they changed their approach now. They used to be in the robes and play in the music and shit, but the airports have made it so they can only stand in certain areas and not just wander around the airport annoying people. Mm-hmm. And I was accosted. They
don't let religious extremists wander around the airport so much after some stuff happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but even before then, there was a designated religious fanatic area because, they were just annoying people. And I was actually accosted my first time in LA coming back by Hare Krishnas, but they were undercover. The lady was wearing a suit, and she walked up to our group who had just made a big scene in the food court because we were here for 5 days and we all hated each other by the end of 5 days. So we had a big fight. This lady accosts us, and she's like, excuse me, I've been watching you guys, and I'm like, oh god, we're all going to go to fucking jail, and somebody else is holding my plane ticket. I wasn't part of the fight, but I'm stuck in LA. How am I going to call and she's like, I just want to let you guys know that you all seem really cool, and I was wondering if you'd give us a donation for the Hare Krishna church, and here's a voucher. It's a minimum $20 donation for this voucher for a meal at the church. And we're like, we don't have that. We're 19 years old. We have $20 between us. She's like, I'll give you all it anyway, because you're going to Indiana. But yeah, it was so weird that they're undercover. I really think that if I would have made a scene, she would have been dragged out by security. because that was I went home and I told my dad about it. He's like, they're not supposed to just walk up to you anymore. And my dad told me a story about how he and my grandfather were accosted at a airport terminal by Hare Krishnas in like the 70s when my grandfather came up to see me as a baby, and the Hare Krishna walked up with his like literature and stuck it in my grandfather's face, who just smacked it out of his hand like a school bully and kicked it across the airport and yelled in 1977 in a crowded airport, "Get the fuck away from me, you goddamn son of a bitch!" Because my grandfather was just the angriest man on earth. My dad was like, "Jesus, Bob, yeah, fuck those guys."
Hell yeah.
God.
So great.
That's how you treat them.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I've heard some crazy stuff recently about Hare Krishnas. Like Kate has some weird stories she told us about them showing up at like hippie gatherings and stuff. But that's not my story to tell, so I'm not going to tell it.
I've only ever seen him once in my life, and it was at an art walk at DTLA.
Yeah.
Where they like opened up a bunch of galleries and stuff, and they were like outside with their fucking finger symbols, just causing a ruckus. They didn't like harangue me or anything.
Yeah.
I was like, oh hey, from the 70s. Yeah.
Joyful dancing over there.
They're
for them.
They're walking up and they're trying to push their literature on everybody, and Wesley takes the flyer, but he immediately throws it away, and we pan to the flyer, and there's Leon, perhaps foretelling his future, dressed like a religious guru.
Oh my
saying,
God, that's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
creepy.
That is weird. That is
The
fucking
parallels.
weird. Yes. So, we cut to the blue team and the green team. They're in the terminal, and Blade refuses to enter the airport terminal because he won't walk through the metal detector because his whole personality is a knife, you know. And in the gift shop, we see...
He puts his knife down, just disappears. That was his only defining feature.
evaporates.
Yeah.
He was a ghost the whole time. And
Blade is just the blade.
Without the blade, I'm nothing. Just fades away.
all
Back
that's
to the
left
future
is a blade
style.
and a blue sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Oh, so in the gift shop, Laura corners at him, trying to get him. She's like, "Hey, be nice to your brother," and he's like, "No, my brother's a dick." And
Be nice to your brother. Have you met
Yeah.
Scott?
We're of two minds on this podcast about Scott. So, at the arrivals board, we see Harold is just writing down every airplane departure and arrival, trying to decipher some kind of code, like he's a beautiful mind. Or
I was gonna
something.
say he's gone full the number 23.
Yeah, and Hare Krishna walks up and tries to give Harold a flyer. And I missed a part where we see the Hare Krishna call Leon. These guys are plants. They're fake Hare Krishnas. They're just supposed to hand out these flyers to, but that should probably be revealed when the flyer they handed out had a picture of Leon on it. But, yeah, he's trying to get Harold to look at the flyer. He's like, but the answer you seek is here, and he's basically just hitting him at this point with fucking answer. If you look to the literature. But Harold's having nothing of it, and of course, because Harold is terrible, he grabs the stack of flyers and just whips them into the air and creates a flyer storm. And I've always wanted to do that, to advertise for something, but you can't do that because it's very illegal. But somebody sees the picture. It's Leon. I didn't write down who, so it's probably one of the indispensable members of the white team, or indistinguishable members of the white team. And the clue tells them to look inside.
They're also
the locker.
indispensable.
Yes, that's true.
I would argue that they are all dispensable.
They're extremely dispensable. So the clue tells them to look inside of a locker, and they all head to the airport lockers, and each team has their own color-coded locker, and the next clue is a gift box containing a puzzle. First, the blue team, they're poring over the puzzle, and Emilio solves it. It's Cherry Point, because it's a picture of somebody sitting in a chair, and the letter E, and a pin, which has a point on it. And there's also a rubber ball. He said, "What's the rubber ball for?" And he just throws it away, and Harold goes to strangle Emilio, because I get it.
Yeah.
But they're looking for Cherry Point. And then we cut to the yellow team, and they're all eating and taking a quick break and trying to figure out, and fucking Adam is drinking a Dr. Pepper because David Naughton's the Dr. Pepper guy. Easter egg. And from here, the Marvel Universe Easter eggs were born. It all started with David, I'm a Pepper Naughton. But they figure out that it's a pin and a ball and somebody's sitting in the letter E. They're going to Pinball City. So the yellow team heads to Pinball City, and they are looking for clues, and they find a fortune teller machine, and the fortune teller is made up to look like Leon, and I want that for my apartment so bad.
You know the guy who played Leon has got to have
He's like,
kept that.
You can pay me with this.
Yeah.
I don't want a check.
Yeah, I don't need a check.
I know I'm a working actor who needs to keep his lights on, but I have plans for this woman that looks exactly like me. You're not allowed to ask what they are. But,
how much did Leon spend on this fucking game?
Yeah.
Like a custom animatronic?
yeah, Leon comes from serious money or something. He has to start a cult just to recoup his losses in this game.
His rent, his...
No, Leon spent $8 on this game and just magically talked everyone into everything.
Yeah.
Or Candy and Sunshine have done some unspeakable things so Leon can have some money. And they look like they would gleefully do it for him. After all, this time it's not murder.
Whatever father wants.
Yes. So the fortune says if they beat the Starfire game, their next clue will be revealed. So they go to the Starfire game, and Adam sucks at it, and Marvin tries to play it, and he sucks at it, and he needs more quarters, so he calls over the attendant. The attendant is played by a young pre-Pee Wee Herman Paul Rubens, and he's awesome in his one scene that he's in. But you can already see the gears are. He might have already been doing Pee Wee Herman off Broadway, or not off Broadway, off out of the Groundlings Theater by then. I'm not sure. I didn't look into it, but he kind of looks like Pee Wee Herman dressed like a cowboy. He's just not doing any of the mannerisms.
He's like Pee Wee Herman at the rodeo
he's like proto. Like in what is that? Big Top Pee Wee does that in the rodeo.
Big Adventure.
No, Big Adventure. Yeah. He goes.
Yeah. That's basically that's it.
It's it. He's got this gun that dispenses quarters that I want.
That shit is awesome. Yes, you're so right.
I gotta go to laundry day and I pull out a gun at the laundry.
Yes.
Okay, no, that's a bad idea. I live in Indiana. Never mind. I get shot 9 times, but. Adam sucks the game. Everybody else sucks the game. Scott is sitting off to the side, and Laura, she loses interest in watching her friends all suck at the video game and wanders over to check on Scott. Scott's
this fucking scene. If there's one thing more exciting than watching other people play golf, it's watching other people play video games.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
So Scott tells Laura that he could beat the game in one try because he plays that machine every Saturday. And Laura's like, okay, well then come on over and beat the game in one try. And, they got 4 quarters left. So Laura's like, all right, everybody, let's let Scott have a turn. He says he's good at it. And they let him. And he beats it in one try. And everybody's like, yeah, Scott, except Adam, of course, because Adam is a piece of shit. Scott is doing all this for the approval of his brother.
There has got to be a reason.
Nothing.
I swear to God.
But, Scott might have killed Adam's dog. I don't know.
There you go.
But,
for the attention.
Yeah, exactly. But the next clue is a video of Leon in an alien suit that looks awful, but is probably somehow figured into Leon's galactic philosophy for his cult. I'm not sure. I think he's doing some more field research for his cult here when he's dressed like the alien. And he informs them that the finish line is at a hotel. I didn't write down the name of the hotel.
Is that Bonaventura?
Bonaventura, yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, the Bonaventura Hotel. And, Adam...
Well, it's also weird because they call the hotel something else, and then in the scene in the lobby, there's a black wall with a big gold sign that says the Bonaventure Hotel.
Yeah.
They're we gotta go to the Garden Hotel, and they didn't bother to change the signage.
No, they do say Bonaventura several times, but they might have called it something. I'm not saying there's a lot of continuity in this movie.
Yeah,
but Adam ushers everyone out. He could stop and say, Good job, Scott. You got us the next clue. But no, he doesn't. And Scott's feelings are very visibly hurt. And I fucking get it. And Scott, at the first stoplight, just jumps out of the Jeep and fucks off into the night. And Adam is like, I'm so fucking sick of him. We're just going to go finish the game. And Laura's like, no, you got to go after Adam. Come on.
He runs out and everybody's like, finally.
No, Laura, she's on Team Scott.
Enjoy San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, you gotta go after Scott. And he's like, I'm not gonna. He's a fucking twerp. Fuck him. And Marvin gets swayed over to Team Laura. He's like, well, I'm not driving. And he gets out of the car. And Flinch, just disappointed in Adam, who he has put all of his, faith in. Oh, how my hero has fallen. The student has surpassed the teacher. And Flinch gets out of the car because they're gonna go look for Scott. And Adam looks at everyone, and he knows what he has to do. He drives off in somebody else's car and fucking goes to finish this fucking game. So You know, so, and Laura yells at him after. He's like, I bet you didn't even know today was Scott's birthday. We cut back to Pinball City, and the green team, who has the clue, has decided to block the door so the red team can't leave, because they have the clue too. I don't know what the green team's plan is, though, because if they stay there forever to block the red team, they can't win
How
either.
is anybody going to win?
But he informs the red team that he doesn't know how they're going to get past, because no one gets past the Mean Machine defensive line. But they have a plan. What's the plan? Peggy and Lulu, gangster as fuck, go over to one of those games with the gun that shoots out the balls that you're supposed to shoot the stuffed animals with so you can win a prize, but they turn the guns around and start shooting the football team. And I bet that shit hurts. So they go and they hide behind the prize counter and they start arming themselves with stuffed animals. And, you know, Paul Rubin steps out and tells everybody to behave themselves before a full-on volley of stuffed animals versus I don't know what those balls are called, but, you know, popping ball machine balls, like get shot at balls, I'm going to say one more time, get shot at each other. And we cut to the street. Scott is at a bus stop, and Harold's van rolls up, and Harold is ranting and raving with the windows down about how he just wants to know where the finish line is so the game can be over. And Scott recognizes him. Hey, that's my brother's rival. And he approaches the van, and he's like, oh, you want to know where the finish line is?
The worst.
The worst.
The worst.
What a shithead.
That's bad. So we cut to the rest of the yellow team. They're looking for Scott, and he's nowhere to be found. We cut to Leon's apartment. Now there's pizzas. Like, Leon's ordered everybody pizzas. There's drinking.
He's got a fishbowl for people to put their keys
Why
in.
don't they all love him already?
Yeah.
He's such an angel.
He's beautiful. I love Leon so much. I want to join the cult of Leon by this scene.
Same.
Mrs. Greenhouse returns with a police officer to have Leon arrested. And the police officer looks at the radio equipment. He's like, hey, I used to have one of those in my squad car. And he's drinking the Kool-Aid all of a sudden. Leon has his power level is over 9,000 at this point. Like, he is off the charts with cult leader energy swagger.
Koresh levels
Yes.
of charisma.
Yes. More on that later. But we cut back to the street where the remainder of the yellow team is out of options. And they're like, we don't know where Scott could be. And they're just sitting there. And Adam, who has had a change of heart, rolls up in the Jeep that he stole 2 scenes ago and is like, hey, get in the Jeep so we can go find my brother. And everybody's like, all is forgiven. Maybe Adam isn't a complete piece of shit. Maybe he's only mostly a piece of shit. And he goes after his brother. And we cut to Harold's van. Scott is in the back, and he's like being surrounded by Harold's sweaty minions. And like they're like, we're gonna get the information out of him. Like he couldn't just be like, go to the Bonaventura Hotel and fuck off, see you later. No, he gets in the van. Why do you get in? You never get in a van, ever. If somebody tells you to get in a van and you don't know them, you don't get in that van. That's day one stuff.
Even if you do know him.
If you get an Uber, if it's a strange van that you don't know of, somebody rolls up, hey, get into this van for no reason. You don't get in the fucking van. Vans are for sexing and for kidnapping, and that is it.
And delivering drugs.
Film industry,
maybe that's different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, delivering drugs.
Yeah.
But you don't get in the van for that. They bring the drugs to you.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, and Harold specifically says to Scott, Scott's like, I'll never tell you the clue. And Harold's like, I'll handle this.
He's like, this requires a delicate touch, he says.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you say? I let you drive the van.
No, stop.
Oh, okay.
Harold's like, I'll handle this. And I really he was going to be like, now who knows how to waterboard? Blade.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'll handle this. Blade cut his fucking face off. Thankfully, that doesn't happen. We don't get to see young Michael J. Fox destroyed
Get a Colombian necktie.
Fucking. Oh, you're not gonna talk? Blade's gonna cut 1 digit off until you tell us.
Oh my god.
We'll let you drive the van there. And he's like, I don't want to tell you. Harold finally bullies the answer out of Scott, and Barf and Emilio, thank him by throwing him from the back of a moving fucking van, possibly murdering him. And then, just to add a little insult to injury, Harold whips the Johnny's Fat Boy mascot doll at him, and Adam pulls up just in time to see all this happen, and he goes and he picks up his brother and welcomes him to the team. And I'm a wreck right now. Like, I'm like watching this movie and it just hit me weird, and I'm just like, oh, the brothers, they love each other. I was like, if you would have walked out to me this morning and been like, hey, Ed, how's it going? I'll be like, nothing. Like,
Thanks, Disney.
So we cut to the white team who is finally at Pinball City, and they walk in and there's a full-on riot going on. Like, people who aren't even part of the other two teams are just picking up shit and throwing it. I'm pretty sure somebody has choked out Paul Rubens and stole all his quarters. We don't see him. He could be dead. We don't see him ever again. But all kinds of craziness is ensuing. The white team is like, well, fuck, we don't have anything to do with this. We're just going to go get our fortune. We're going to play Starfire. And before they can start playing Starfire, Blaylock sees that they're playing, and he whips a ball at the machine and breaks it, because Blaylock is a piece of shit.
Well, he's probably still really drunk.
Could be. Yeah. So the green team flees the scene of the riot that they started, and they head to the hotel. But on their way out the door, their car bumps the truck of the red team, and it goes into that part of LA where Danny Zuko has the drag races, and the T-1000 chases the Terminator in a semi-truck. I don't know what that's called.
The
but
LA River?
Is that... You call it a river, but I see no water. That's the LA River.
Water in the
It's for like runoff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why. Wouldn't that just be... I don't know, but that's the LA River. I never knew what that was called.
Yeah. When it rains, the whole thing becomes a rushing, white, furious cascade of water.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, like, it's cool because, like, you could stand on the bridge and, like, watch, like, mattresses and shit float by. I'm always worried. I'm like, I'm going to see a corpse one of these days.
You're going to see somebody's body.
You're going to see somebody who was, like, asleep in the riverbed, just floating by on one of those mattresses. Oh, this looks like a good place to pass out and sleep it off. Next thing you know, whoa!
My dad is an electrician, and before he was, like, an electrician with the company, he was, like, a custodian with them and, like, had to work his way up the ladder. And I was telling him that same joke about the LA River, about how we're going to see a corpse float down one day. And he was like, well, before I was a lineman, I one of my jobs was cleaning out a hydroelectric dam in Indiana. And he's like, so I would have to, like, open up, like, part of this thing, because there's, like, a little reservoir that catches all of the crap before it goes through the generator. And he's like, I opened it up, and I saw my greatest fear on this earth, and I slammed the door, and I called the police, and they're like, what's wrong? And he's like, there's a fucking baby! There's a fucking dead baby! And it was a doll. The clothes had gotten caught in the machinery.
Oh my God.
But it was, like, covered with, like, seaweed and filth and shit, and it was, like, floating face down in this dark, because it was like a trap. Like a crap trap. And so he had to, like, open it and shine his flashlight, and he thought there was a fucking pale, dead baby just floating.
Terrifying.
I would never go back to work again. I don't care if it was a fucking doll.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
No.
Oh, we cut... we cut to Harold's van. Lucille has realized she's lost the mascot doll and that they have to go back and look for it. And Melio, of course, reveals that Harold threw the doll at Scott after they threw him out of the vehicle. So they have to go back and get it, which means they have to return to the scene of the possible manslaughter they committed.
Just a Scott-shaped smear on the road.
Exactly. It looks as if somebody dropped a bunch of cherry pie on the road. And there's braces there. And oh, look, the little Johnny's Fat Boy mascot next to it. Great. So the yellow team, they're back at the scene, and they decide there's no way they can win the game. Harold is so far ahead of them. Let's just call it a night. It's okay. We did as good as we could. And then they see Harold roll up to go get the doll, and they realize they're back in the game. And we cut back to Leon's apartment. Mrs. Grimhouse is beside herself with anger and yells at the cops to...
There are cops there now.
Yeah, she shows up.
Right, because they talk about the...
She yells at the cops, gets in their face, and tells them they have to do their job and arrest somebody. Yeah. And they say, okay, and they arrest her, goddammit. I don't know what the charge would be.
Well, she calls the black cop an ape.
Oh, she did? That's... Yeah. Oh, God, I didn't even catch that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Good bitch, get arrested.
Cool, Disney.
So they're they arrest her and drag her out.
Yeah.
And if this movie was realistic, shot her 19 times on the steps of that apartment.
Yeah, they beat her with a bag of oranges.
Yeah.
Like, they fucking... Oh, I didn't realize
Beat her with
that.
a phone book. Doesn't leave bruises.
So yeah, she's dragged out, and everybody in the apartment applauds because, you know, who doesn't have, like, rage against their landlord? Actually, I like my landlord, but
She's both a landlord and a racist, so fuck her.
well, yeah, but she's a racist, so yeah, fuck her.
And a landlord. Pretty much just as bad, in my opinion.
Yeah. I have a good landlord, I'm okay. But, somebody stole some shit from me once, and he found out about it, and he threatened, he told me, I don't know if I should tell this story. Fuck it, nobody knows where I live. My landlord's like, how about... Allegedly, a man who looks and sounds like my landlord when he was on the phone with me was like, well, how about we just get my gun and go over to his house? Because it was somebody else in the apartment building and broke into my apartment and stolen some DVDs and shit, and I found out it was him, and my landlord was like, well, you know, if you haven't involved the cops yet, we'll just get my gun and we'll go over and get your stuff back. And I'm like, whoa, gangster! Fuck, dude! And my landlord is like such a straight-laced, normal guy, too. But, no, I had already involved the police at that point, so it was
damn it! I wanted to hear about this.
No, I did not. There was no frontier justice for the guy who stole my DVD collection, sadly. We cut back to Pinball City's parking lot. The red and white team are arguing over who's more screwed because the red team doesn't have transportation because the green team accidentally ruined their truck, and the white team doesn't have a clue because the green team ruined the arcade machine, and for a second it looks like Donna and Wesley are going to have a fucking fist fight, but one of the debate team members decides we should make a compromise, and they make a deal, we'll give you rides in exchange for the destination, and that's cool, and everybody pairs off and they ride the mini bikes, and the next time we see them, like Peggy and Lulu are of course driving their mini bikes, and Donna's like putting her arms around Wesley, and Wesley's like bragging, he's like, yeah, they make smaller mini bikes, but I like the feel of this hog between my legs, you know, and
it's not the only hog between his legs.
She's dialed in on it too. She's kind of digging the vibe. They never really go much further than that, but you know, if there were a sequel, I'd like to think that these two found love. But we cut back to Leon's apartment. Everybody, he tells everybody, all right, time to leave. We got to go to the hotel for the final, for the finish line. And everybody's like, cool. And the cops decide they're going to come, and they don't want to take Mrs. Grimhouse back to the police station and miss a moment of the action. So they just throw her in the squad car and bring her along handcuffed. And all 5 teams have shown up at the hotel, and they're ravaging the lobby. The red and white teams are riding their fucking motorcycles around the lobby. Like, why is that? Or not motorcycles, they're like mini bikes, but still, why is that a thing that they thought it would be okay? And of course the security comes, and of course security ejects the red and white teams from the building and tells them that they're banned from the hotel. So, oh fuck, what are they gonna do? Well, thankfully Wesley spies out of the corner of his eye somebody sneaking a smoke in a bellhop uniform. So the next thing we see is the weirdly identically dressed white team is now weirdly identically dressed as bellhops. Like, apparently they found 5 bellhop suits that were all the same size, and it's weird. And there's this posh lady with a dog checking in at the hotel, and the desk clerk is like, your usual room? The bellhops will help you into your room. And they just grab the bags like savages and drag everything and throw it into the elevator and shove her in. And they even throw the case, the what do they call it? Like the carrying crate, the kennel crate thing into the elevator like monsters, and shove her in so they can keep looking. And the red team has found some housekeeping uniforms, and they're all using their housekeeping keys to like look in rooms, and there's one moment where somebody walks into a room and sees something they're not, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, and some more comedic sexual
misconduct
happens. And elsewhere in the hotel, we see the blue team is hiding from security in a power room, and they're right in front of a board that says elevator controls.
You know how that works.
That's Chekhov's elevator controls. And inside the waiting room, all of Leon's neighbors, who are still wearing their pajamas and robes, they weren't like, hey, Leon, we'll hook up with you, but let's go home and change first.
It's a great all-nighter.
Yeah, they can't miss a moment.
It cannot.
You're right. Plus, you know, it's easier for them to take off their pajamas for the sex orgy Leon has planned.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true.
So they are eagerly awaiting Leon to dispense the final clue, which is to page Mr. Game Players to pick up a white courtesy phone. And the final clue is look in the pool area, and I mean this expressly. And Mrs. Grimhouse sees that everyone's not paying attention, so she sneaks away and uses her face to dial hotel security on the phone and says that the hotel is being overrun by hooligans in room 2704. We cut back to the pool area, and the yellow team is searching the pool area for the clue, and Adam is the one who figures out that they need to use the express elevator to ride to the top of the building so they could see the clue from there. And we cut back to the pool where the red team and the green team are arguing about who was there first, and Blaylock throws Donna into the pool, and Burl karate the shit out of Blaylock into the pool, and eventually the red, the green, and the white team all end up in the pool. But as previous listeners of this podcast know, the easiest way to get everybody into a pool if you're in a movie is to just announce that it's a pool party and jump inside, and everybody by movie law is bound to dive into the pool as soon as possible, which I thought was a real concern when I was growing up, that I was going to be at a party with a pool and somebody was going to announce it was a pool party and I was going to have to ruin my clothes by swimming with them, because I was a dumb kid growing up. So... But if they had followed this podcast, they'd know how to get everyone in the pool. Only the blue team and the yellow team know they're supposed to be on the elevator, though. So it's like an elevator race. The tension is high. And they both figure out the clue. They see a bunch of deck chairs that are arranged to read room 2704. Thankfully, it's early enough in the morning that, like, a family of fucking vacationers hasn't shown up and moved the chairs and, like, laid their coats across. Like, there's 9 of us, so we need 9. So we're going to put a towel here and a basket here and, like, 1 shoe here. And, you know, it's room 27-8. What? Huh? But that doesn't happen, thankfully. And the yellow team gets to the elevator first, like the main elevator, because they have to take the express elevator all the way back down and go to the regular ass elevator. And they get to the elevator first, and Harold remembers elevator access, and he traps them in the elevator.
Oh.
Yeah, trapped in an elevator with Scott. Just think about it. Just think about it.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I choose death.
And the blue team has to take 27 floors worth of stairs up to the hotel room where the finish line is located. And this takes a long time because Harold is fat. And of course they make some hay out of it, and Emilio keeps teasing him because Emilio is a dick, and that's their friendship. I like to think that maybe eventually they get married. Or they don't get married, but they, like, spend the rest of their lives together, like, as their only friends, and they just hate each other, like, well into senior citizenship.
Like the shut up little man guy?
Yeah,
yes, that's them.
Peter
Exactly.
and Raymond.
Yeah.
Inside the elevator, Marvin realizes that if he could just get a piece of wire, he could jimmy the lock and gain emergency access to the elevator if only he had some wire. And Scott's like, I can save the day, and he pulls out his retainer.
Oh my
Yuck.
Fucking disgusting.
How have we not talked about the fucking hotel security?
Oh, I did mention them a little bit, but would you have more to say?
Like, the main dude of, like, the hotel security, like, which is, like, the characterization of the concept of hotel security.
Yeah.
It's, like, this very militaristic dude who's,
That's
like,
true.
smoking on a cigar.
He's wearing, like, mirror shades.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, oh, this is the most, we got some no good nicks in the hotel. This is the most fun I've had since my life.
Degenerates. Yeah.
Too dark? Is that joke too dark?
Oh, man. Gotta get these kids out of my hotel.
He seems
Must
like the
have safety at all costs.
He seems like the kind of guy who's got strong opinions on beatniks.
Yeah, he's the guy they kicked out of the My Lai massacre for being, like, too militant. They're like, come on, we're just trying to set some orphans on fire here. Come on. You're too hardcore. Thankfully, he has a future in hotel security. But, so Marvin uses the bracelet, the retainer to, like, jimmy the lock. And, again, yes. And the elevator arrives at one end of the hallway with the yellow team, as the blue team arrives at the stairs the other end of the hallway, and it's like a standoff. And Harold smashes open the door where the emergency fire hose is, and he has Emilio turn it on, and he's going to turn the fire hose on Adam, because he can't have Adam, of all people, win this game. He can't get beaten by Adam, damn it, because his dad will never stop masturbating if he finds out Adam won another fucking trophy. He's like, "You're ruining my parents' marriage, Adam. Mom won't let Dad sleep in the same room anymore because he just talks about you in his sleep. It's really weird and off-putting." So Harold turns on the hose, but Adam, using his cat-like reflexes, uses the retainer to open the elevator door next to them, which is a little bit open so he can see the security guards inside. And the security guards spill out just in time to get a face full of water, and they drag off Harold, and Adam and the yellow team burst into the hotel. Yay! Adam wins! And that's the end of the Great All-Nighter. And we're at the reception party. And Wesley's chatting up Donna. He's offering to get her some refreshments. There's a nice refreshment table. And there's a birthday cake for Scott, because Leon truly does anticipate every goddamn thing in this movie.
He knew about Scott.
He fucking knew about Scott and his birthday, and maybe that he'd be going to San Francisco, and his parents' bank account information, and he knows everything. Leon knows all. And we see Harold and the blue team being hauled off by security, and Harold sees this tray of snacks, and he's just had it. And he goes fat guy bananas on this tray of snacks, and Lucille is mad at him and starts to henpeck him, and he picks up a pie, and he hits her in the face, and everybody laughs, because Lucille was just, trying to get her boyfriend to lose some weight. Innocent victim in this, but when somebody gets hit in the face with a pie, goddammit, you laugh. Pie in the face is comedy gold. And Adam and Laura finally decide to kiss each other, and that is the end of this fucking movie.
Ooh, that was an excruciating level of detail towards the end there.
Yeah, sorry, I told you I took copious notes.
You sure did.
Yes.
Thorough.
So, final thoughts. If this movie were like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and they were to show a little caption of a character and show what the character went on to do, Leon is David Koresh. That happened. I've looked at pictures of David Koresh. There's a lot of physical similarity between Leon and David Koresh. He's got his cult-like energy. I've seeded it throughout the podcast, but it is my theory that Leon went on to become David Koresh, or the Saw Killer, or possibly both. But yeah, Leon nuts. This game in this movie actually inspired several real life games like this, one of which had to stop because somebody died looking for a clue in a cave that they weren't supposed to go in. Yeah. So,
fun.
Yeah. Dark shit. But yeah, some college students saw this movie and they were like, they got the right idea. Let's have a game like that, which is good. They weren't like, they've got the right idea. Let's start a religious cult like Leon is. It could have been worse.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it directly inspired, but it seems to have predicted stuff like geocaching and stuff.
Yeah.
I did once break into an abandoned observatory for geocaching.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I found a geocache in the I'm not like a geocacher, but I happened to see that like the trail. I used to be really into urban exploration, and I saw like on one geocache the trail went cold, and I got really curious, and I tracked down to it like the last coordinates, and it was in the fucking woods. It was like a very small observatory, not like the Griffith, like a room in the woods where there's no light pollution, basically.
And then you went in there and used the telescope to see a lady undressing.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course.
What you do.
That's what you use one of those big ass telescopes for.
And the door was like padlocked shut, so I broke it open with my wrecking tool, and I found the geocache, and it was inside a Vietnam-era ammo box, which I still have.
Oh, wow.
Which was kind of a cool little prize.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
A friend of mine lives at the end of a road, and somebody put some kind of geocache thing on the or at the dead end sign at the end of his road.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason he lives at the end of this road is because he doesn't want anyone bothering him ever. So he was so pissed to find out that people are constantly pulling up to like find this geocache. And he desperately wants to fuck with them, but he hasn't yet. But one day he says he's just going to charge out at them in like an apron covered with blood and like pink hot pants or something like that.
So this movie was a gigantic financial failure. In today's money, it lost about $15 million.
And I get it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean...
They could have saved the movie, you know how?
Let us see the orgy that happened.
Let us see the orgy. Yeah, they were filming that movie alongside of it, and that's where they found
That's why it was shot in the valley.
Yeah. The first performance on film of a young Michael pre-J. Fox. Yeah, David Naughton went on to be mauled by a werewolf in American Werewolf in London, but I still haven't forgiven him.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, Stephen Furst went on to play many other fat slobs in many other movies for the rest of his life. He passed away like last year, I think. I don't know what the fuck happened to the Green Team's leader, because his still is a still from this movie on the IMDb.
Ooh,
so
that's never good.
Yeah, you know this
That's never
fucked his
good.
career up.
It ended.
Yeah, Maggie Roswell went on to do voice work. Eddie Deason, nerd legend, and yeah, that is what has happened to all of our principals. What happened with Leon? Really nothing. Sadly, he did not get a lot of work after this.
He was able to afford that island off the coast of Canada, building the compound, waiting for the comet.
Right.
Yeah,
that is right.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't have too much to say about this movie.
No, I peppered in all of the additional info that I had throughout the movie, other than this inspired a real life game that went on for years until somebody died a few years ago.
Well, there still are
there's several.
Yeah, games that are specifically aping this movie. And just even analytically, I don't have much to say about this movie because we have pushed the envelope so far on this podcast with what we watched. I just felt nothing for this movie. It's not good. It's not bad enough to be funny or interesting. It's I don't know, for me it was just a big nothing burger.
This movie scratches an itch for me because of my childhood fondness for it. I will definitely admit, and the fact that I see way too much of myself in the character of Emilio. But I was always a big fan, as you have been part of several of my squads where we go off and do ridiculous things, and goofy activities. I've always been a fan of that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I never had the wherewithal to put together a great all-nighter game, and plus it would probably cost several $1,000s to do it. But I always wanted to participate in one, and then I looked into it a few years ago, and I saw examples of the previous games, and I was like, oh no, never mind, I'm not good at any of this. It involves running and climbing and driving fast and jumping. I know a lot of people who are good at that, but I would just be the other guy in the car.
Maybe if you have some sort of clue-puter.
Yeah, that's what I'm missing, is a rich dad with a clue-puter and a weird, unhealthy fixation on my college mate.
Beth, anything in particular to say about it?
I will always love this for the cheesy disco fabulousness, the theme song.
The theme is quite the cheesy disco.
So,
it's an earworm.
Yeah.
It's in my head right now, and it's been in my head this whole fucking podcast.
Yeah. I mean, just that alone.
And there is a Rocky Horror Cast out of Chicago that I used to go see pretty frequently, and they're called Midnight Madness, and it has nothing to do with this movie. But anytime someone has mentioned going to see them, I just think...
You just, Midnight Madness,
I always used to joke to them that they should shadow cast the movie Midnight Madness and call their cast the Rocky Horror Picture
Oh my
Show.
God, that is such a brilliant idea.
That is a brilliant idea if they want to sell two tickets, one to you and one to me.
Oh my God.
Because you live in LA and probably won't fly out to Chicago for that.
I would.
Because it's gonna be hard to get 50 people on one stage.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Everyone would have to play 9 parts.
Yeah.
Oh, I could make that happen. I could stage it.
And so much of the movie is just people driving around too,
That's okay. That's hilarious. You just make a cardboard car.
or running. That's another great part. Whenever you see a movie get shadow casted that isn't Rocky Horror, like Clue, for example, the last part of Clue is just
Running.
people running from one end of the stage to the other, acting out a scene, running to the other end of the stage to act out the next scene. Oh, it's so... But their costumes look good, so
Yeah,
they
sure,
keep
it's fine.
shadow casting it.
Yeah.
But maybe one day we'll shadow cast this movie, Will. You're invited and you can play Leon.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah. I will play Peggy or Lulu. I'm not sure which. Oh god, their giggle is so infectious. I want it to be my text message tone.
Please don't.
I won't. That involves work, so I'm not going to do it.
You'd have to make that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made a custom ringtone, but that's it. Okay, yeah, so I think this concludes Midnight Madness, the horniest of all Disney films.
Mm-hmm.
It was a failure, so they never tried anything like that again. And there's an alternate world out there where this movie was successful, so maybe Disney started making titty comedies eventually. like Porky's, but with Disney World.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Sadly, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Or maybe for the best, it didn't happen. Who are we to say?
I'm
We
sad
are but
about
mortals.
it.
I'm sad.
All right, so that is final thoughts, and now we are on to plugs. I would like to plug our social media. We are at Facebook.com/badpeoplepod. We are on Twitter at badpeoplepod. We have a Patreon page if you really want to give us some money so we can pay a producer so Will doesn't have to call me every Monday when he's editing the podcast and be like, hey, Ed, how about you go fuck yourself? No, he doesn't do that. He's really nice. But if the shoe were on the other foot and I was the one editing the podcast, well, one, it would never get done, and two, it would be me calling myself, hey, Ed, how about you fuck yourself, you stammering, snorting, coughing piece of shit. So we could pay a producer whose problem that is if you guys kick in on our Patreon.
Like a pug going up the stairs.
I am, in my heart, I am a pug. I am a pug in my heart. But, so, yeah, we are at Bad Movies for Bad People on Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
We have like a $5 level you could kick in.
That's pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Although, we will have some merchandise coming eventually. Like, we've got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. I've seen some proofs. It's good stuff. It's coming, and you can help us out by supporting us by buying that once we have it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'd like to promote current mission that I am on that has nothing to do with the podcast. If you'd like, you can go to the Hostess Facebook page and try to get them to bring back Hostess pudding pies, because one time I saw a guy doing it, putting the hashtag bring back pudding pies up for like 3 straight weeks, and I was like, I'm going to join him on his effort. And now it's been like 4 months. Every day they put up something, and every day I put up something about bring back pudding pies. So please help me harass Hostess and the bring back pudding pies for this guy I've never met.
Wow, that's the third time you've plugged that.
It's a mission.
Yeah.
Are there pudding pies yet?
Well, okay, you got me there.
Gotta keep going.
Yeah.
I was doing that for months, and I told you about it, and you're like, hey, why don't you mention that on the podcast? So this is your fault. Also, our co-host Zach couldn't be on this episode, but follow him on all social media at Zackass, that's Zackass, or you can follow him...
Zackass the Movie on Twitter.
Yeah, Zackass the Movie on Twitter. And if you find me on social media, I'm not going to tell you where I am on social media, but what I've done is I've placed a series of clues throughout LA.
God damn it.
And if you can solve the clue and get to the next location, eventually you will find me on Facebook or Twitter. But I'm not on any other... Oh, I'm also on Snapchat if you want to send me a picture of your peen. Find me there. Anyway, on to you, William. What are you plugging?
I'm on Twitter. I am at Scripts for Sale. That's scripts ending with a Z, number 4 sale. You could follow me on there if you want. Other than that, I'm a columnist on Cracked.com. Got a lot of work up there. Do game reviews for UltimateGamingParadise.com. Do a couple other freelance things. I am a award-winning managed writer, just in case anybody at like UTA is listening or whatever. Give me money, please.
Yeah, in case we haven't burned any bridges by talking shit on
about Disney, the most powerful megalithic media corporation in the history of humankind.
I will say I'm glad Disney got out of the Midnight Madness business and started getting into the Marvel Universe business.
Yeah.
It worked better.
Yeah, I don't know, in case any showrunners are listening and you want to staff me on your show, I got work examples on my website. I finished in the top 50 of Nickel last year, so hire me, please. That would be cool. Anyway, that's it. That's it for me.
Beth, are you promoting anything?
Oh, well, fuck. Things are gonna start happening again for me. Right now I'm on Instagram at Brandy Snifter 638. And also, my best friend and I used to run, before COVID, the weirdest burlesque show in LA called WTF Lesque. So you can watch that space on Instagram and Facebook at WTF Lesque on Instagram, I guess. And we'll eventually come back. We have some popular shows. Past themes have been a Nicolas Cage show. Our most popular shows are a Stephen King show and a serial killer burlesque show, because it's always funny to kill people. So we're coming back soon.
So who did you do for that?
For serial killers?
Yeah.
We did Real and Imagine, so I did Pennywise, because I have a famous
you have
Pennywise burlesque number. But
you have like two different, you have like both Pennywise costumes too.
Yeah,
right?
I have a bunch of clown burlesque because I guess people are frightened by clowns or something.
Not on this podcast.
Yeah.
No.
We're clown friends.
I mean,
Take it to Jumbos, be like, I thought you had to. I thought that was what you had to do.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. But anyway, we're coming back soon. As soon as June 15th hits, when LA opens back up again, we'll find somewhere to terrorize the community with our crazy shit.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I mean, I live in Indiana, so I won't get to be there.
Okay,
but maybe one day I'll be out in LA while you're doing a show.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
Pick a theme.
I can pick a theme?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's a terrible idea. Midnight Matt. No, I'm kidding. All right. Well, that is all of the things that we have to say to you this week. So tune in. We are available on all of the major platforms on the first and third Tuesday of every week, or of every month. The first and third Tuesday of every week. Jesus, I'm terrible. First and third Tuesday of every month. Tune in. Tell your friends about us. Make some friends. Tell them about us. Whatever. But until we meet again, please take it easy and keep it sleazy.